role, isn't it?
Since when?
Since
Because you've taken a sabbatical.
no, because remember I'm always the last person to do it.
Good morning, people. Welcome to TDA. Happy Friday. Woo! And I'm not the only person in the room today. We thank God. Yeah, you know. Thank you. Welcome to TDA. And yeah, welcome to TDA. No, I'm joking. Your favorite news platform and home of the culture. Let's go around and introduce ourselves. So it is I, your girl Justine, representing the Black Queens in the fitness scene. I feel like I haven't said that in ages.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
They call me E-Man, the pro-black activist, TDA producer and news analyst. Melanin jam-packed.
Sensational.
We do whisper. Brent whisper. Sensational. So, to be honest, you should have. I mean,
No, can't do that.
why?
Until it is you give me permission to use it again.
I never didn't give you permission.
Oh, serious?
Yeah,
Okay.
you did that
My
on your
bad,
own.
my
But
bad,
anyway,
my bad.
the Queen of BOE is back in the building finally. Queen.
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 The Queen.
Oh,
I'm a Ghanaian bag, innit? You know what I mean?
street. Good morning, everybody. I'm here too.
I was just about to say, Brent, how are you?
I'm blessed and highly favored. Thank you very much.
You alright? Did you like that video I sent you the other day on TikTok about?
Yes.
Yeah, it was cute.
It was.
It was basically the title was when you're Caribbean and you find out that your ancestors are from Africa, and he's dancing to like Afrobeats, but it was so funny. And someone commented and was like, "Yo, Justine, this is Brent."
All right, so we have Mary K asking, good morning, everyone. Quick question. There is a TDA listener that is also a baker, or is there, I guess. Pretty please, can someone share her name? Why is the her then? Well, you bake, right? Men bake too, right?
Nah, man.
What?
We don't do that.
That's crazy.
That's
Are
a
you
woman,
joking?
That's a woman's job. God damn it.
I bake.
Wow.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, but you're a bit.
You're not joking, but
I'm bent.
proceed.
I said no. I didn't say that. You're Brent. You're not Brent.
All right,
You're not
okay.
broken. No, I'm joking. Yeah, of course. Ramsey bakes, you know. Great baker. No.
Vegan joints.
No.
Stay away.
They taste like.
They taste like what?
Proper
How do you
things.
know? Why are you pointing at Gina?
I was
She
about to say,
tasted
why are
it?
you pointing at me
The
like I've
reason I'm
had
pointing-
Ramsey's?
Is the reason why I'm pointing because the whole vegan thing. Gina knows hummingbird vegan cakes are the best.
Gina doesn't, because Gina hasn't had
Oh,
the vegan one.
Addy,
I haven't had the. When did I tell you I had the vegan one?
I put one in one time, and you said it tastes just.
I remember
To
that.
be fair,
Did I say it tastes the same?
No, you shouldn't.
Go on. What did I say?
it's early. I don't want to lie.
Yeah, what did I
You
say?
said-
Yeah, go on. Look at
You
you.
said
putting words in my
no.
mouth.
You said it's amazing, kind of, but you said it's amazing, but
You can still tell.
you can tell the difference. It's less dense.
Okay,
I think
fair
you said
enough.
compared to the
But I would still
animal
eat it.
one.
Not the
Yeah.
animal one.
Yeah, of course you would. It was nice.
But I do love a. Anyway, we all know about me and Red Velvet Hummingbird, to be precise. Yeah.
But yes.
All right. So we have Mary Kay. We have Mel the baker. Mm-hmm. She's a fantastic baker. And we also have, I don't think I'm allowed to say it. Well, I'm like, shy, I'm not allowed to say it. But we have another person. I will ask them today if we can use her name alongside Mel going forward. But until then, we've got two female bakers.
Is that what this is saying, though, Brett?
I think so.
Because I'm a bit confused. You know? It sounds. Again, I could be wrong. It sounds like she's asking for that person.
Yeah, Mel.
Yeah, but you said Mary Kay is a baker.
No, Mary Kay is the person who's written the message.
I thought Brett was saying we got two bakers. We got Mel, we got Mary Kay.
No, he wasn't listening.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
This is what happens when you don't come to TDA. Sorry to say.
That's all right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I think, what's the website called?
Is it
My
mybaker.co.
.co, yeah.
Mybaker.co. Mary Kay, type in mybaker.co in Google, it will pop up.
But then you have to
You have to
her
ask for Mel.
specifically.
Yeah, ask for Mel.
So you've been sent by TDA.
Yeah. So you'll be sent by TDA and you will get a discount.
you get good customer service,
You may not get this good.
but it tastes well enough. It tastes fantastic.
Yeah,
Trust me,
yeah,
it tastes
yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, don't get the vegan joints though. Not that it doesn't taste well. I just suggest that you don't get vegan joints in it if you want a full experience. All right, Energy. I've sent you a message. I haven't seen a response, but I'm seeing you in the chat. Interesting. I see how it goes. You said you wanted to play something in the interest.
Yeah, Brent, I got 2 clips in there. If you don't mind,
Okay.
play.
No, sorry. Before you play this clip, are we going to address my absence?
Okay,
Go with the spirit.
Go on, Queen of Beauty. We can't
Let
stop
the
you.
spirit lead. I don't know which spirit is going to lead though.
No, I'm done. She's even tilting them.
First off, Brent, can you play it?
I do have. I literally don't have it in there.
Are you sick?
Yes, obviously. Clearly. If I knew you were
Why
coming
did
today,
No, but why did you remove it?
because I thought that
No, because I never asked you to.
I'm giving you reasons why I moved it,
Okay.
right? So obviously I did something bad to you,
Yeah.
right? And put my hands up, my bad.
What did he do?
And each time I used it, it felt as though I was still gaining from you not being here.
What was he
and-
doing using a clip?
Yeah, and I didn't.
You know my theme song.
Yeah. The violent introduction from Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah. That was synonymous with anger and rage. I just
Sorry.
felt away.
Sorry.
Actually, can you see what it's in?
Yeah, but you know,
Yeah.
you're so special, you know,
Oh,
honestly.
so
Like,
special,
the world needs more of you.
So
Special. Ray, whoa.
I don't even know the rest of it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not on the board. But I'll put it back on the board. Now that obviously you've given me permission to put it back. I shouldn't take it off.
Yeah, I don't know why you did that.
Yeah. You know, like when it is a player on a team, like just transcends the number in which it is that they had, they retired the number. It was an homage.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the highest of honors.
I wasn't part of the team.
You were always part of the team. What are you talking about?
Was I?
That's why it is like you felt so hurt because you were part of the team.
No.
No?
No. No.
I mean, you lead. I'm here.
You was using me.
Yes.
You were doing what
I just had to basically
you were
remember
doing what
you.
the others did to us. You was using my labour.
Yes.
Yeah, you was gaining a lot from it.
Yes.
And there was no thanks.
No, what?
No thanks.
I gave you no thanks.
No thanks.
Interesting.
Well, you didn't show it.
I mean, I didn't know it came from Christy.
No, she's talking code right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
fair
there's a
enough, fair
conversation
enough.
happening and you don't really know.
Okay, sorry, I'm hating from outside of the
But
club,
she
so I
could
can't
share
get
it with you.
Yeah, no. Brent was walking down a dangerous line
Okay.
and he was intimating that also me was dangerous. So I didn't like that.
She still lost.
I am.
Yeah, if you want to give more
You can do it off
clarity-
air if you prefer to.
So basically, obviously, Queen of BOE,
Come on.
my views.
Come on. The only view that matters.
Obviously, I hold certain things dear to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like Brent took it too far.
Okay.
And it now became like you was telling me like I'm a detriment.
Okay.
I implied
Yeah,
I implied.
The implication was clear.
I implied that she didn't like white people.
No, that's no.
No? Oh, sorry. I
he
implied.
doesn't even know.
There's
Can you imagine?
there's a few things I could imply. I implied she didn't like mixed race people.
Yes.
There we go. Right?
Yes.
And I don't know where I got it from.
You don't know. you just on your Brent shit, basically.
Apparently, I don't know where I got it from.
No,
Right?
you know what he's doing, right? He's trying to say it's me. Can you see?
That's
Can
why I
you
said,
see?
that's why I said it's special.
Can you see?
I'm helping you fill in the gap.
no,
Because she's looking at you,
no.
going, but she doesn't know what you're talking about. So give it a clarity.
Listen, he literally tried to intimate that they would not be safe in my presence.
Oh, okay, damn.
And that's very deep.
Damn, that's what I said, damn.
So basically, I was going to have a community service episode. And I was going to invite them on to talk about their experience.
Experiences
Colorism
being
Minister Alex,
mixed,
right?
yeah.
And I suggested I wanted to call Christy in to basically have the back and forth with them. Not because, and obviously I know how it came across, and that's why I said I hold my hand up 100%, because obviously I've built a profile of her, you know, speaking on race and this and I would play the tune each time it should come on, like votes and whatnot. You understand? So I know how it could have come across, and I put my hand up and say, fair, I'm not even going to push back on this. Sorry, I apologize.
No, that was, I don't know why you tried it.
That was a sanitized version?
Yeah, 100%.
Fair.
100%. Because you didn't put your hands up to nothing. Wait, I did. No, you did. First off.
All right.
First off.
I
had to call you. You didn't call me.
On the same day?
Fred, I'll walk out this damn studio.
Remember this morning how it is that Gina said something and it wasn't in my head? I can completely, the bandwidth in my head is just crazy. So what, did you call me on the same day?
No, I didn't call you on the same day.
Oh, so it was left a while.
Yeah.
And then I
brought it to your attention.
And then I was like,
you didn't bring it to me.
Fair. And
so you didn't think you did anything wrong.
There we go. So I didn't even think I had caused harm.
Yeah, of course you didn't.
Well, I didn't. And then
because you're a sicko.
That's
you never
true.
do.
That is true.
You never do.
But like I said, I didn't know I caused harm.
Yeah, you did.
And then you brought it to my attention, and I saw 100% how I was involved in this.
No, you didn't.
I didn't?
No, there was
Did I get pushed back a little bit?
Yeah, you did.
And then, what did I do?
Oh, because I blasted you. You had to yield.
Obviously, why not? You're a black woman.
But then, no, don't try it, because you didn't think of me then. Because it wasn't. You didn't think of me then. No,
intended.
You didn't. Even when you yielded, what did you do afterwards? What did you do afterwards?
I retired the jersey.
No. Okay, I didn't ask you to do that. Number one. Number two. What did you say you was gonna do?
Tell the world that I did it?
No. You was meant to go look back. Because you didn't. You were. You just
did,
like,
I
no.
did say that, didn't I?
Yeah, you
to
said you were gonna
basically
look
check
back
to see.
Yeah, you said you were gonna look back.
What I did.
And then, did you look back?
Nah, it
Exactly.
went on my head.
So then you didn't even look back. So therefore, you don't even know if you did anything then, because you didn't even go back.
No, but I accept it.
No, but I wanted you to look back.
All right,
and come back.
I will look back. Today.
Did you ever come back to me
after the show? Let's look back together.
No. Did you come back to me?
Because I did look back.
Exactly. So therefore, that's what I'm saying. You didn't even care.
But basically, what she's saying is,
you didn't even care.
No, basically what she's saying is, you don't actually care, because if you really care,
exactly,
and she expressed that she was
it's
hurt.
not like,
exactly.
it's not that way.
No, it is. Just accept it. It's fine.
No, I'm fine to accept it. All right, never mind. Cool, I accept it.
So that's how it looks. It looks like you don't care. You're not that bothered, because if you really was, you would have went back. Especially if after she said that it caused her harm.
Fair. I'm not pushing back on any of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, who changed your mind? What changed your mind? Why have
Actually,
you not
it was
allowed to grace this particular platform with your
Well, it wasn't for you.
glory?
That's for damn sure.
That's fine.
It wasn't for you. I saw Gina. I saw E-Man.
Yeah.
I was
So struggling.
Yeah, I did. That
y'all weren't struggling, but I hear what you're saying.
No, they were.
Damn, that's fine. My confidence ain't my confidence ain't bruised.
Yeah.
Can't ride
To be honest,
around.
actually, thank E-Man's daughter, actually. Thank E-Man's daughter.
E-Man's daughter.
Yeah, I just saw.
Oh, your heart broke.
Yeah, like I just didn't like when it was all like getting flustered.
Yeah. He was getting flustered.
Yeah, it was getting flustered.
Wow, I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, I didn't like
fair.
that. I didn't like seeing that.
Fair.
I was just like,
This is her time.
Esther's away.
That's why I kept my mouth shut.
Esther's away, obviously, and then also, actually, tell a lie. Then what you did to Gina, also, I was just like,
Oh, about
yeah.
yeah.
I was like, oof. I was like, is he really doing this?
Put me
I
in
said,
the
yeah,
hot
no.
seat.
Gina needs support. Of course, anyway, let's get on with the show.
But quickly, can I just tell you guys how my date went with my?
But thank you very much for sharing, and Emile, thank you for your daughter breaking her unbroken heart, right? Because obviously it was never broken by me. I can never break your heart, right?
Are you
I'm
right?
not even that important.
You're just lucky because I
You
live
are
my raps.
BOE 100%.
Yeah, exactly. I live my raps.
I love that.
So therefore,
I'm gonna take you. I'm gonna take
you
out
are
after
bigger
the
than
show.
the calls.
100%.
You are bigger than the calls.
I love that.
So therefore, this is why I'm here.
100%.
Because I believe in the calls.
100%.
Because it was left to you and your own devices.
Yes.
I would have mashed this whole studio up.
100%. You stand by your word.
No, I do.
Certain words.
Is this what we did?
That's okay.
You haven't let me listen.
No, but thank you very much. Thank you very much.
No, he hasn't. And trust me,
For
throughout
being
this
you.
show.
I'm gonna take you out afterwards.
No. Throughout this show.
No,
No, I know you.
I definitely won't be involved in any snipe comments. Impossible. Not whilst you're here.
You can't help yourself. It's
can.
like a Tourette syndrome. You
I
cannot help
can.
yourself. No, you cannot.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Aha. No, it comes.
Jesus Christ.
Go on. Tell us about your date.
It was so lovely. I had so much fun with her. I hope she had fun. Did she have fun?
Yeah, she did, man.
Yeah.
She did. She had a
So
good
did you
time.
take her Snow White then?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Yeah, we got to watch Snow White.
Come on.
We did. But yeah, it was nice. We went to watch Snow White. We went to the ball pit. We went and had food afterwards.
Bull pit, what is that?
You know, like kid space where you can go in the play thingy, majiggies. And you know what? Yeah, I was just like, kids are hard work, you know. Like I had to literally be like, wow, what? So it's like this all the time, yeah. Wow.
Something to look forward to, no?
Huh?
You still looking forward to it?
I said,
All right.
I said, oh, okay.
All right. Good.
Because you know what?
Little humbler.
Because you know, like when we got there, I thought, okay, cool. I'm just gonna sit and let sis do her thing. Auntie Gina, can you play with me? I thought, okay. Auntie Gina, can you play with me? I thought, okay. Auntie Gina, I said, yeah. She let it go. She is not letting it go. So I had to play with her. We have to go here. Let's go to a different room. Let's do this. I want a lollipop. Like sis, because she goes there regularly, I could tell that she frequents there.
She knows her way around.
Because she was telling me where to go and what to do and let's go here and let's do this and whatever. And like, yeah. It was nice. It was fun. And I was asking her like about school and stuff. And like what her favourite subjects are and what she wants to be when she's older. She's telling me her favourite colours and stuff. And it was nice.
Amazing. What
I
she want to
liked
do
it.
when she's older?
She wants to be a doctor because she wants to help people.
Oh.
Was that scripted?
That's what she said.
No, that's what she said.
She
man.
literally said, I want to be a doctor. And I said, why? She goes, because I want to help people. And I thought,
Amazing.
oh, so sweet.
Well, she will achieve it.
Yeah, she will.
I'm saying in
that.
Jesus' name. right?
Amen.
He can say in whatever else name. But,
What, in Elijah Muhammad's name or
Everybody's
in
name.
the nation's name? Or,
It shall be. It shall
You know,
be.
fun fact. The woodsman, is it the huntsman?
huntsman.
Is Heber's husband.
Shut up.
Yep.
Is it?
Yep.
What's that?
Heba, she's been on
No, what's her husband?
the husband in
In Snow White.
in Snow White.
What the?
He was black.
He's black.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I told you. This is Mr. Emmanuel, yeah.
Big
I
him
said,
up.
Emmanuel, there's a few black characters. He said, are they leading roles or slaves or servants? And I was like, actually, they are villains. And to be fair, their job is to go and kill Snow
Yeah,
White.
he's an actor by trade.
Oh, okay, sick. Yeah.
You know who Hebs is, Brent?
One of the most talented individuals in this scene.
Okay.
You talking about Heba?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is she not talented?
No, this is the way
Am I
you're
talking
saying
about the
it.
wrong person?
No, I don't know. Because I don't know who you're thinking of. I don't know.
Who's Heba?
She even came on Meet Us with me and Yus.
Yeah, she has.
Does
No,
she have
because
sisters?
sometimes, you know, Brent's memories.
Does she have sisters?
Not that, I don't know.
She
Am I
does have
thinking
sisters.
of somebody else.
See, this is what I mean.
I don't know who Heba is.
You do.
Remind me. Just show me a picture. Somebody help me. All I hear.
But yes, my date went well. I absolutely enjoyed it.
That's good. Yeah, she had a good time, man.
You
Yeah,
don't.
she came on. She sat there, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So her husband is the huntsman.
Yes.
Fair.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's good.
All right. Shout out Black Love.
Indeed.
Brother, can we let's just stop the show because I ain't got no time.
All 5 seconds.
Remember, I've got a couple clips I wanted to mention.
Ah.
Or you know what? That we can leave that for One Road, Brent. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Headlines, guys. So the Duke of Sussex, aka Prince Harry, met war victims in Ukraine on Thursday when he visited a clinic which rehabilitates wounded military personnel and civilians. Prince Harry visited the Superhuman Center in the western city of Lviv, where he spoke to patients and staff. He was accompanied by a group of Invictus Games Foundation. He was accompanied by a group from the Invictus Games Foundation, including 4 veterans who had been through similar rehabilitation. Lviv has frequently been targeted with Russian missiles, and the visit was not announced until after the prince was out of the country. Prince Harry, who served for 10 years in the British Army, founded the Invictus Games in 2014 for wounded veterans to compete in sports events. Next headline, and a government department run by one of Sir Keir Starmer's most senior ministers is cutting almost a third of its jobs as ministers seek to accelerate civil service reform. Officials at the Cabinet Office, headed by Pat McFadden, are being told today that 2,100 of the 6,500 jobs will be cut or moved to other parts of the government over the next 2 years. Along with other reforms, the Cabinet Office says the cuts will save £110 million a year by 2028. The Cabinet Office supports the Prime Minister and coordinates the work of other departments which have more specific remits. Civil Service Union Prospect warned that blunt cuts of this scale could harm delivery across the government. Of the jobs to go, some 1,200 posts will be lost through voluntary and mutually agreed redundancies or people not being replaced if they leave. A further 900 are being transferred to other government departments in an attempt to avoid duplication of work. And our last headline, trigger warning on this, people, trigger warning. The father of a grooming gang victim has told Sky News that the government should be ashamed of itself over the confusion around surrounding inquiries, accusing it of messing around with survivors' lives. Safeguarding Minister Jess Phillips this week sparked fresh uncertainty over whether regional inquiries into grooming gangs, promised by the government in January, by the way, would go ahead. Following 2 days of confusion, the Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, insisted on Thursday that 5 local inquiries will take place and hinted that more could follow. But her comments have done little to reassure Marlon West, whose daughter Scarlett was a victim of sexual exploitation in Manchester. Ms Phillips' statement in Parliament on Tuesday, which sparked criticism after it failed to mention the reviews, left survivors so disappointed. The uncertainty makes you dizzy. This is basically what Mr. West said. The uncertainty makes you dizzy because you get hope and think, I'm going to get somewhere now. Then they do a U-turn, as they've done twice this week. And that's it for our headlines, guys. Let's get into our topic of the day. All right, so today's topic of the day, this was brought forth by the amazing Queen of BOE, who's blessed us once again with her presence. And I think it's a brilliant one, right? And it would be good to see basically where this goes, isn't it? And so the question pretty much is diversity of thought. Typically, everyone says, well, let me not say everyone, a lot of us say it's good to have different ideas, right? But can that be detrimental to the progression of black people? Can that divide the black community to the point where it just infringes on us actually progressing and getting to where we want to get to as a whole? And yeah, man, is that something that is worth sacrificing, essentially? But yeah, Christy, what are your thoughts? Let me start with you.
To be honest, you and Black Rob inspired this. Because Black Rob is like a dog with a bone with that point.
Black Rob, get ready to call up.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. Because he loves the diversity of thought. Not to say that it's not a good thing, but as you said, I think it can go to the point where it's just like, that's all we're talking about. And we're not actually doing anything. It's like, okay, we understand. We have the diversity of thought. We understand. We're not monolith. I get it. We're not. But it's just like, okay, then what next? Now that we've established that, yes, there's an array of complexions. There's an array, we all don't think the same. There's an array of ideals, religious background, all of that. Once we've established that, that's indeed a fact. Now what?
I don't know. I mean, I guess the idea is once that is established, like you're saying, and that's our reality, and are you basically saying, I don't want to put words in your mouth, are you saying that some ideas shouldn't be pushed to the forefront? Some ideas should be suppressed for some time till we get our foot in? Or are you basically saying, which I believe Black Rob may say, again, I don't want to put words in his mouth, that all these diverse ideas are essential for the overall progression of us? It's good to just hear different ideas so we can strengthen our arguments, so that we can be, I don't know, better overall.
Overall, in what sense? In taking us forward? In what, like?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Because freedom of thought.
Because I feel like we get stuck on now arguing our diverse thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's not actually any movement because we're so stuck on, no, but I believe this. I believe that. We're not all the same.
Okay, but
it gets to the point where I'm like, okay, how does that move us forward? That's
Okay,
what I'm saying. So like, for instance, you love to champion Kemi, you love to champion Candace Owens, you love to champion
allegedly
Kanye, you like to, and all these people are apparently, they have diverse thoughts who are also black, and we must hear them out because we're not all monolith. We all don't think the same.
Well, we don't have to hear them out.
No, that's how it's portrayed, that we should hear them out.
Okay.
Because again, we have diversity of thought. And so it's just like, okay, now that once we've heard them out and stuff, how does that benefit us in the long run?
Because
I'm not saying we should all think the same. Then
of course.
I'm not saying we should all think the same. But at one point, at which point that we hear them all out and we hear all these different thoughts, that it then becomes harmful to us to actually move forward.
I think if you're hearing diverse ideas, thoughts that you wouldn't have thought of, right, and it's valuable and we take it on board, I think that's a beautiful thing. But then obviously, like you're saying, at some point we have to just say, okay, cool, let's form what we need to form, let's organize, let's do whatever we need to do, and then progress. But my thing is, I guess my question to you would be, what's the alternative? If the diverse ideas weren't there, would we be further? Are these ideas really holding us back?
I think if it's now causing contention between us, then yeah. But for some reason we can't get over it. That's why I'm just like, okay.
So are you saying it's more like we should not agree to disagree, but like accept that we all have different thoughts and opinions, put that to the side and still kind of carry on with the fight? Or?
Is that what you're saying, Christine?
Sorry, don't say that.
I said, so is it a case of, yes, we all have different opinions, but let's put that to the side and just carry on with the fight? Or do you believe that us having different opinions is not allowing us to carry on the fight?
I think it's a bit of both. I think because we, like, obviously some people don't care about the messenger, they just care about the message, i.e. you. And other people in the chat, they know who they are. And so that, to them, the overarching point would be the message. Obviously, it doesn't matter who it's coming from, as long as the message. And those messages come from people who are quote unquote free thinkers, all that kind of stuff.
Not necessarily, Some people, they're just, I guess, contrarians to some degree, right? That's their default.
And that's another issue as well to me, because I feel like some people are just being contrarian just to be that, and it's not like, again, it's just to prove a point, and just so just proving a point, and they are beholden to that point. We don't get anywhere. All just in the name of I want to be different, or no, I don't think that way. I have like these certain views. Sometimes I can't. I kind of feel like certain people with those kind of views as well, they have an air of like arrogance, like, oh, if you don't think that, then what are you doing? kind of thing. And I think that also stops us or prevents us from getting anywhere.
Let me read a few comments in chat. Yeah, Blackwell basically says, as long as we share a common goal, that can take basically many forms. Malcolm and Martin had different ways of doing things, but they had the same goal. Jinan just said, I don't believe the diversity of thought is the problem. I think it's more so about talking loudly on uninformed, researched, no evidence-based thoughts, right? Also, Izzy Bambino says, there's a general conflation of ideas you don't like with actual harmful ideas. So yeah, so where do you draw the line on something being a view you don't agree with, and also that view being something you think is harmful for our community? Because everyone's opinion is going to be different on that.
Yeah, and to Demi in the chat, I agree with his point where he says, I think there should be certain non-negotiables. Can't agree on everything, but the non-negotiables bring us, he said, bring back to the white supremacy talk, which I genuinely agree. Like, I feel like there's certain things that if it's all in the name of diversity and thought, it's not necessary. It's not like, I hear it, but there should be just certain things that there should be certain lines drawn in the sand. But certain people will still champion the Candice. and I'm not understanding why. All because she says certain things. Yeah. Oh, here's the message, blah blah blah. But sorry, when it comes down to it, I don't know. I don't see how she's gonna her contribution is gonna move us forward.
You don't think so? You don't think in any way?
No, not a damn thing.
Why though? Well, why do you think her views or who she is as a person or whatever it may be is so bad for the black community, in that she can't possibly say something or champion a particular cause that helps us? What
cause does she champion that helps us? Right
no,
now?
I'm just saying, because you're saying you can't see it happening. Do you get what I'm saying?
I don't see what she ultimately stands for. Is, to me, she's up for the highest bidder. It doesn't, like, and if it's against her own, she don't care. It's not in the best interest of us. I think she may say certain buzzwords and things to be like, no, I represent these kind of black people that have these kind of thoughts, and she's like the figurehead for them and stuff. But ultimately, I find her disingenuous at best. So I feel like her underneath all that, when you get underneath all that, it's not helpful. It's not.
You know what the thing is, for me, I hear what you're saying, because I do believe that at some point, some people you just kind of maybe have to forget about, right? But for me, I've always said, especially with the whole Kanye West thing, I just felt as though what he has done for the black community in terms of his contribution to music and things of that nature, right? And how people kind of heralded him as a great artist and a great representative in some capacity, yeah? Let's give him a bit of time to explain. That's always been my argument, isn't it? We've obviously got past that now. so I understand, right? That's fine. I understand. And I also, as well, attribute a lot of what I saw to some mental health issues. That's not to disrespect him if he hasn't got any mental health issues. But I do believe, I just love black people. And so my thing is, if there's a way for you to come back, if there's some method to the madness, I want to know. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't want to discard you as quick as I would discard somebody else who's not part of our community. That's just my approach. And I know that isn't always the most helpful approach. We've seen in the past how like backfire. I'm fully aware, you know what I'm saying?
And you would rather take that risk?
No, with some people, 100%.
No, but who's the some people?
No, but do you know the thing is, to me, it's also down to what role that person takes. So for example, Kanye West, he's not making any decisions for in terms of where the black people are going. Like, he's just an artist. I don't hold artists and footballers in such positions where if I welcome them back in the community, that's at our detriment. He's just another regular person. Do you get what I'm saying? But his role in those spheres of influence can be something. That's how I see it. He ain't leading nothing for us. Do you get what I'm saying? So to me, the risk isn't as crazy. If he was at the helm of our community and he was leading us, then it's like, wait a minute. where are you taking us to? Do you know what I'm saying? If he was in the position of a Martin Luther King, where are you taking us to? Malcolm, where are you taking us to? But he's just a...
But if he's someone of influence, isn't that still
No, it
cause
can
an
be.
impact?
It can be 100%. That's what I'm saying. At some point, you may say, you know what, this is too much, right? But I guess that's just maybe me just hoping that, you know what I mean, for the best for certain people. But also because I like to listen to the truth in something, or at least what I deem to be the truth in something. Like, I don't think there's anybody on the planet that you fully disagree with 100% of the time. Do you get what I'm saying? And sometimes that person can provide some valuable nuggets of truth, of information in a particular area that could benefit us. You know what I'm saying? If you're somebody who really cares about what's going on in Israel-Palestine, you might jump on the side of Candace, even though you disagree with everything else. If you're a Christian, born again Christian, you care about Christianity, you might jump on the side of Candace. When it comes to police brutality, you run away from it. Do you get what I'm saying? But this is all in the same person of Candace. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's basically my approach to certain things.
Yeah, but if there are certain things like as you said, police brutality, which is literally harmful to us, where we don't agree on, why would all again under the guise of but she has diversity of thought? Why? And that aspect of where you don't agree, or where it's like, okay, yeah, I can agree on other stuff, but that particular thing and that particular thing actually impacts us greater than maybe all the other things you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Then why would...
I hear you. I take your point. I do hear you.
Morning, Black Rob.
Morning, guys. Morning.
Good morning.
Morning. So, I think when we speak about diversity of thought, I think there's a misunderstanding in how it's been described. Because when we say diversity of thought, we're not saying that if you share the same common goals, the way you want to go about it may be different, but that matters. So Martin and Malcolm had same goals in mind, but they had different ways of approaching it. That's what we're talking about when I say diversity of thought. Not necessarily. So what I'm talking about is that if there's people that have different ways of approaching things, but they're trying to meet the same end goals, from what I see a lot of times is that if you don't want to do it the way I want to do it, then you're not part of the group. And that doesn't make sense. You're actually losing valuable assets by trying to make people conform to the way you want to do things. And diversity of thought is all about trying to reach the same goals, but maybe we have different strategies, different ways you want to get there. And that is what we're talking about, not necessarily just being a contrarian. I think that's more what Chrissy was alluding to in the way she was explaining diversity of thought.
Yeah.
And then also that whole thing, sorry.
No, go on.
And that whole thing about Candace, for example, and this is a prime example of what it actually leads back into the discussion that's been had yesterday about prosperity preaching and all that stuff, how we're so emotionally driven that if someone says something that we don't agree with, we throw them in the bin. And if you I don't agree with Candice on the whole BLM stuff that she was talking about, George Floyd stuff, but if you look at her coverage on the French president and his wife, her coverage on Israel, Palestine, her coverage on lots of different topics, she's very well researched. And a lot of the stuff that she says, you'd actually be surprised that I reckon a lot of you would agree with it. But because you probably watched a clip of her, come to a conclusion, never watched any long form content, and made an assessment on who that person is, and then you're missing out on valuable content, or even this. She's just an example, but missing out on actually learning something because you didn't like the messenger. I think it's just. Yeah, anyway, doing yourself a disservice most of the time, because you're not going to, as Iman said, you're not going to agree with everyone on everything. But what about collaborating on the things you do agree with, and then the things you disagree with, you go your separate ways?
Yeah, but as I said, if those things if it's not for the greater goal of moving us forward, then no, I can't get along.
But that's why I preface it with, if you have a common goal,
yeah, but that's
you disagree on the way to get there.
I think it's a bad example.
I
don't think she has a common goal with me.
Yeah, I didn't speak about her at the beginning. That was a separate point I was made about her.
Yeah,
I was talking about. That's why I see Martin and Malcolm was the example I gave on that.
Those examples, I get it. There were obviously different methods to the same end goal. I hear it.
Exactly. So if you have a common goal,
but I feel like
if people agree that they have a common goal, but they disagree on how to get there, they should still be able to work together. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh no, that's 100%. But with you,
Well,
I feel like certain
we agree
times you want to be a contrarian just for the sake of it, though.
Yeah, you've already told me that's what you think. I've told you that's not the case, but you've decided, you've placed intent on my motive. I can't tell you your motives. You can tell me what your motives are, but I'm not going to assume your motives. I can assume them, but I won't be right. Only you know them, innit? So you can tell me that's what you think I'm doing, but that's not the case. So I accept that you said that, but that's not the truth, and I accept that that's what you think, but that's not the case. And also, times I think the whole being a contrarian, being a what's it called? You said something about pompous or something before. I think sometimes it does come across like that, but it's like, I'll give an example. Me and Demi disagree on quite a lot of time, but I can tell that even though we're on the opposite sides of a lot of discussions, he's well researched. So whenever I come back to him with my information, he doesn't go, his first rebuttal isn't, character attack, or you're arrogant, or you're this. He's like, okay, cool, I'm going to look into that and I'm going to come back with it. Because when two people that are opposite sides of a discussion but are ready to learn and come in with information that they've researched themselves, they will come and give each other information and be like, okay, cool, we disagree, but see where you got that information from, blah, blah, blah. But when two people come in the discussion, one person has read or researched more about the other side, and the other person just coming with feelings, the other person typically will be like, shut up, whatever. Do you know what I mean? They become flippant because they can't come back with any stats or whatever, or any book knowledge, I don't know, whatever research that they've done. That's what I've seen a lot of time.
Feelings doesn't have to be absent logic or facts. You argue,
it doesn't have to be.
Yeah,
I agree.
Because
a lot of times
argue, you lead with your feelings all the time.
Of course. I said it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be, but a lot of times it is.
Do you feel as though, basically earlier, Demi said there's certain non-negotiables. We shouldn't be wasting time deliberating over certain things, right? We should know by now what this is the case, what case this is pertaining to different things. Do you agree with that, Black Rob? Or do you feel as though every view should be welcomed? So if somebody's against DEI, it should be welcomed. If somebody's against reparations, as in a black person saying, look, we shouldn't get reparations, or rather, we shouldn't maybe rely on reparations, or whatever it may be. That's basically what most people would say is anti-black. Should we give them the time of day? Or do you feel like that's
with these type of things, it's always like I want to know how show you're working at. How did you get to that conclusion? Because someone might say something that sounds kind of wild as a soundbite, and then you ask them why, and then they have like a really nuanced and well thought reason why they got to that. I'm like, okay, maybe I never thought of that. But when people are you said this, dismissing it. Let me hear why, and then after I hear that why, I'll be like, nah, that's still nonsense to me. But if okay, so let's say someone's like anti-DEI, reparations, but they're pro-black. Well, they say they're pro-black. I'm gonna do a deep dive into, okay, because you say you're pro-black, so how do you come to the conclusion that DEI isn't beneficial, or reparations isn't beneficial? And then they have some really well thought out. I may not agree with it, but there's actually working out to how they got to that conclusion, and they're earnest about they're pro-black, but it's just that they have a different way of getting there. Do you know what I'm saying? Those are the type of people. That's what I'm talking about in their diversity. I'm not talking about like some like shock jock. Do you know what I mean? I think people that are more, and I think the mistake we make in our community is that you have people that are earnest in their approach, that they actually want to do well for us, but they maybe have different views. So like, let's say the example they give, someone that was like anti-DEI, anti-reparations, but like earnestly is pro-black, and then you get someone like, I say, Charlemagne, who he's just a mic for hire. He just says but because he knows how to pander, people are more receptive. The community's more receptive to those type of people because they'll say whatever they need to say to be on the right. They just go with the wind. They don't actually have a real stance on anything. Those people are that let in more, but the person that's earnest but maybe has a bit more of like contrarian views is shunned when they actually are genuinely trying to make progress. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I get you.
If Eman and Charlemagne were sitting next to each other and they they both had the same size platform, Iman would be painted as like some crazy guy, and Charlemagne would be painted as like, oh, he's the guy on the side of black people because he knows how to pander. And the other one's more, and Iman's more earnest, but he has just a bit more radical views on stuff.
But I think Candice is a shock jock herself, though.
But the thing is with Candice, though, yeah, is it right to bring up people like Candice if she's never said she's pro-black?
She's not a good example for this because I don't know if she's blowback or not.
Yeah, no, but I've never heard her say, "Oh, I'm pro-black. I'm for the black community."
So I wouldn't say that either.
Yeah, I think she's more so like, she says, "I'm on the side of truth. I'm for humans just getting, you know what I mean, like human rights and everything being fair."
She was chosen by the Jewish community because she was willing to basically sell the black community out, and she had been doing the bidding for the longest while. And
I don't know why she had an awakening because she just went left field after this. She left the Daily Wire.
Because they tossed her out.
It was a whole Christianity stuff, apparently.
Yeah, probably.
All right, I hear you. Okay, yeah. Thank you very much for that, Black Old Man.
All right, cool.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
I did want to ask though, because I think Izzy said something in the chat, and if Demi can call up as well, I want to know what are some of the non-negotiables, because I feel like a lot of these things will be based on opinion, right? Some of the things that you think, or I think, or we think, or whatever it may be, are the non-negotiables. What are non-negotiables to you? What are things that we shouldn't be discussing, that we shouldn't be debating over in 2025? Or do you feel like everything should be on the table? Huh?
Black women wearing wigs. Like, we're not tired. We're gonna wear them. So
yeah, but okay, just because we're gonna do something.
No, but I just think there's bigger fish to fry, personally. So
that's interesting
for me,
because that ties into the clip of Vibes. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay.
Do you think that only black women should be holding counsel for those types of discussions?
Only black women?
Yeah.
No.
What, you think that men should be holding?
100%.
Talk to me.
Because men have daughters.
Because men have what?
Daughters.
Oh.
And men choose wives, and they have mothers.
Can you just expand on that?
Because a man has to raise his daughter, innit? So it shouldn't just be the opinion of the woman that's basically put on the child. He has to decide certain things in his children's life, whether that's a boy or a girl. Likewise, the woman should as well. So just because you're a woman and your hair is a particular way, and you style your hair and I don't style your hair, doesn't mean your say is the only thing that matters. No.
Do you agree with that, Gina? Do you think that men should have equal say on how women accessorize their hair?
If you're talking about your daughter, 100%, like, you should definitely have a right to speak about your daughter. But I don't get why you talk about my hair.
Why do you agree, Emmanuel? If it's just
no, because obviously,
daughter.
If you said to me, listen, do you know what? Yeah, I don't want us to put. I mean, I'm not putting a wig on a child anyway. Do you get what I mean? So that's even absurd, personally. But I can understand the argument that, you know, obviously you're going to influence her and stuff like that, and which I do get. But again, respectfully, it's my headpiece. So.
But you mean that's if a man's talking about a black woman that's not in his family, you mean? Basically, he should mind his business. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I understand that.
Yeah.
Oh, you think that black men should be allowed to speak about adult women, but it has to be within their family, right?
No, I think they should be allowed to speak about it anyway because we're part of the community and these things affect us. In the same way, I think women should be able to speak about issues that affect black men too, especially if you care.
Give an example.
I can't even think of something to be honest with you. Yeah, because I'm just not against us talking about the things that affect us being together. I'm not against it.
So you think that the wigs causing some sort of divide?
100%. Why? Because it puts in self-hate. It has the potential to put in self-hate. 1 trillion percent.
Sorry.
Do you agree?
That what?
That wigs are the main cause of...
I see you. Oh, I love you.
Let me too.
But then, okay, let me ask you a question, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Let's say your daughter, yeah? Let's say I spend a lot of time with your daughter and like she really likes me, she's like whatever. You mean to tell me you're gonna come and tell me when I'm around your daughter I shouldn't wear a wig or like have that conversation?
No, but if she starts to think, oh, you know, I want my hair to be long like Auntie Gina's, I would say to you to basically
wrap up.
No. To put something in her mind to recognize that the more important thing is to have your own hair.
100%. See, I'm okay with that though.
How does that work though? Tell me what that looks like in practice.
I don't. Obviously, it's his suggestion, but I'm just saying because I guess my mindset is he's gonna come and say to me, "When you're around my daughter, don't wear a wig."
No, I wouldn't do that. No.
Banter.
I would never do that. No, I would
One
never
day
do
you
that.
even come home and she has a 20-inch bust on her head. That's how I'm
You
gonna
wouldn't do
move.
that. Christy, can you imagine what she just said? That's crazy. That's
Crazy.
terrorism.
Yeah, but what's crazy is
you no longer
telling
have an
me-
auntie, right, Emmanuel?
Yeah, but
Huh?
She would no longer have an auntie, right?
no, of course. But I'm saying because the reason why I would go there is because I'd be so offended that you coming to tell me that I can't wear a wig around your daughter. So I'll be like, oh, okay.
Wait, are you deep in what you've just said? Is this a joke? This is a joke, right? This is
Of course,
banter.
Of course, I wouldn't put a
Because
wig on her.
if her mind is
No, but I
changed
wouldn't do that.
going
The same
forward-
way, I wasn't gonna take her. Come on, I wasn't gonna take her to see Snow White without his permission. Like I'm not. Do you know what I mean? Like we spoke about it. He gave me permission to take her to see Snow
But
White.
you fought for it.
I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't fight for it. I didn't. Like I just
You went on ChatGPT and said, "Are there any black lead?"
because no. I said he said as long as there's black characters. So I went to check if there's black characters. That's not fighting for it. It's not that deep.
All right, fair.
But prior to that, I was given options for other things to watch. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah, to watch.
The only other alternative was
Was it?
Did you just say Amistad?
What was on the list?
Toto Rwanda. Black Diamond. What's it called? Black Diamond.
Oh my gosh! Sorry, Emmanuel, I interrupted you. So you feel as though the wig wearing is a major.
It can definitely add to something. 1 trillion%. 1 trillion%. And I'll be honest with you. Some of these things, who am I to say somebody's suffering from self-hate or whatever? That's not even, I know I'm prepared to die on a lot of hills. That's not one of them, right? But my thing is, with my daughter, for example, with my nephews, my nieces, whoever, I do not give an inch. I'm not prepared to find myself in a situation where she's 6 or he is 6, 7, 10 years old and they're not loving who they are to the maximum. I'm not prepared to give a single inch. You know what I'm saying?
That wouldn't be an issue for you though, Gina, if it is that you were married to Emmanuel.
That what?
That he would be pouring into his daughter about the
Wig stuff.
yeah.
No.
But you're saying you're too far gone, basically.
It's not even a
You're
case
going to
of,
be leading by example, isn't it?
it's not a case of being too far gone. The thing is, I've gone through a period of like having my natural hair out. Do you get what I mean? It's not like I've never done it before. My hair's too short to have out at the minute, for me personally. So it's not like do you know what I mean? Like I'm not that bothered, if you get what I mean. It's not that deep. So I'm not going to be like, oh no, you can't talk to her. Like, if anything, yes, instill it in her. Do you know what I mean? I've got no issues with that.
And that's a fair trade, no, Emmanuel?
What?
Oh, you want more?
No, like,
I mean, me and him ain't together, so
But precisely, but it's an example, right?
yeah.
what do you mean? Of what exactly? What do you mean?
Is it a fair trade that your wife allows you to basically instill that particular message while still wearing the weave, the wig?
Email's not being with someone with wig though. Let's be real.
No.
Let's be real.
No, but exactly. So, I mean, I don't know.
Ask a question.
Does your wife wear wigs?
Not regularly, no.
But she
Oh,
wears
oh.
wigs.
It's been a long time.
But she's worn wigs.
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Good morning, Joshua.
So yeah, for me, it's not the biggest
Morning.
thing in the world, yeah. But for my daughter, it's the biggest thing in the world. I don't want, like I said, I don't want to give a single inch. From 3 months old, she's been watching and listening to me talk about certain things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've seen her hair, and we've asked her certain questions here that I won't even repeat on air, right? And you see how she responds.
Yeah.
Because I'm not prepared for her to be in a situation where she's choosing white dolls over black dolls, choosing white people of impossible. Not my child ever in life. So
Is it possible to wear wigs and not be like not self-hating?
yeah, I think so.
The ancient Egyptians used to wear wigs, no?
Is this what we're holding on to?
But no, he's talking to Emmanuel. He's talking to Emmanuel.
What as a lifestyle?
Yeah, royalty, no?
That's how they protected their hair. Like, what's the issue?
Yes. So do you think it's the same as the regular folk doing so?
No, I'm asking you, innit? It's your position. Again, I'm one of the people who thinks that's not a conversation I'm going to get involved in. Let women manage that, innit? But I also agree with the thing that you said. Well, the person said about you. You wouldn't be with a person with a wig anyway. I think a lot of these conversations come up because we end up with children with people we don't know that well in our community a lot of the time. And then we haven't had these conversations. So if the person that you're with, they came with wigs and they that's them, innit? It's not nothing to do with self-hatred. That's how they like to look. I guess for maintenance, it's a lot easier. You're going to be working a lot of the time. I'm assuming if you work in a gym, like the host, it's going to be a bit mad if you've got your hair out all the time, sweating. You're just having to do 10 hours of maintenance a day. We don't have time for that, innit? So that's not a conversation we should be worth having. But if you came into a relationship and a person's already like that and they're telling them not to do it, then you've already lost, innit? You have to go back to the basics and have these like conversations from like the ground up. But I think these aren't conversations that they're not worth having, innit?
So wait,
because again, it goes back to that thing of impugning motive that Black Rob said before. You're saying now because they have a wig, they hate themselves, innit? Wouldn't that might not be it, innit?
100%.
We have to have the conversation to diagnose these things properly.
100%. But it would be crazy for us to act as though these things don't have an influence. We spoke about this on the show where a 16-year-old...
No, they do. I'm not saying they don't.
Yeah,
I'm just
exactly.
saying
Exactly.
Don't tell me what the influence is without being able to accurately diagnose it.
Is it worth the risk for you? Is it worth the risk?
For me?
Yeah.
I'm bored, bro.
No. What I mean, sorry.
Again,
what I mean for your children.
If my missus watched... Well, I mean... before I had a son, I didn't like guys with long hair. My son has long plaits. So you just got to change, innit? Like, it just is what it is, innit? And it isn't that deep that for me, if I'm impugning the right things into him, that he's going to grow up and he's just going to become undone by that. And so it's definitely worth having. And I think the approach that you take makes more sense than just leaving it up to nothing. But the problem I have with what you're doing is you're telling these women that this is how they feel, or if they take this route, that's how they must feel. When it's like, boss man, some of these people they look nice in wigs, boss man. They're made well. Some of them obviously not.
100%. But you know, I never told any woman to how she feels. I'm not interested in any of those type of dialogues. I'm just talking about my household, right? My child, my sons, my daughters. I'm making sure I do not give... I'll try my best. I'm a human being. I could be wrong, I'm flawed, all that sort of stuff. But I'll try my best to not give any leeway for white supremacy to creep in there. You know what I'm saying? I do not want my child thinking that on birthdays or wedding days, the best look is the European hair look, the Malaysian, Brazilian, Indian. I don't know the different hairs, where it comes from. No disrespect. But she should believe that her natural look is divine. That's what I think.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And I think it's also wild for us to say we should put on wigs or we should do certain things because of the, it's easier to maintain. Sorry, it's harder. Yeah, it's easier to maintain and I'm sweating in my wig. And what? We were born this way.
Well, it's the modern, it's the modern day. People have to go to work, bruv. Like, it's like we're all at work now.
Is it hard to go to work with your own hair?
I don't take, bro. I'm bored. It doesn't take 5 seconds to do my hair, bro.
Forget you. I'm
ask the women in the room because I'm not trying to even white knight, bro. Again, I just live with a woman and I've realized it's not worth having this argument, innit? How long does it take the people in the room to do their hair? Is it the same as yours, you man?
Not at all, but still.
So then don't tell somebody that they hate themselves because they're choosing the easier route.
I am definitely not telling somebody that they hate themselves. Again, I never said that. I don't believe necessarily that you hate yourself if you do. But what I am saying is, for some people, it's self-hate. If you can look in the mirror and say to yourself, you look better, your best, using hair that it doesn't look like yours, that is an issue. That is an issue. I can't apologize for truth. That's an issue. If that's your best look, is your best look is somebody else's look. You have to say certain things as blunt as that sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying everyone. I'm definitely. 1,000,000,000%. I don't believe Gina Esther has any self-hate. For a fact. I know that. No, you know what I'm saying?
The thing is, even if you did, I wouldn't care.
No, but still, no. But what I'm saying is still, I don't believe that to be the case. But what I do believe is that for some people it is. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think...
But remember... So what we're talking about is, the thing that I'm kind of addressing is, you said, should we be talking about this as a community, innit?
Yeah.
So like, when do we actually make a decision about what this is? Because if
Okay, I get you.
the host is gonna say, well, like, I'm not gonna listen to you anyway. If it would still be annoying to have to hear it all the time, in my opinion. I hate having to hear some stuff, and it's like, we've already told you that stuff. We don't hate ourselves. Like, why you keep bringing this up?
Okay.
So when can we move on from this conversation? Because that's where I wanna. That's the question I have for you, innit?
Are there,
You say that what? Sorry.
sorry, it's okay. Are there times that they mask the hatred of themselves, Emmanuel, and they don't know? It's deep.
I think so.
Ghosts.
Interesting.
Yeah. What's it?
I think so
You know
too.
what? Maybe you know what?
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I do.
Whoa.
But then people will say I'm a hypocrite because I straighten my hair. So
Are you?
I guess I am.
Fair.
I mean, it's my hair. It's not. I'm not putting on something.
The level you're saying.
But I guess they wouldn't hear it from me because I straighten my hair. But obviously not chemically, but just with a blow dryer and if it's just a blow dryer straightener, whatever. So they wouldn't hear it from me either. So, but I think the same way I get accused of maybe blanketing black men who date outside with self-hate issues is the same way the women also who wear that get accused of self-hate. Do I think we've gotten to a point where it's an amalgamation of reasons where now there's so many layers, it's kind of hard to get to the root. But I believe that at the root, how we got here, self-hate was definitely at play. How we got here. Now, has it evolved with different things like styling and all that kind of stuff? Yes. Where it's just not that deep. Not thinking about it, just go in or whatever. Because even he mentioned the example of like going to the gym and stuff. I go to the gym. Obviously, I'm not a gym warrior like Gino. I go, but obviously the sweat and all that wouldn't affect. But at the same time, it is what it is. If it affects kind of thing. I've got to go about my day. I'm not actually in the hairdressers every day to now get it straightened. If it reverts, it reverts. It is what it is. But I think there definitely is an interrogation that needs to happen where I feel people where I feel like certain women are unable or unwilling to go down that route and don't want to go down that route for whichever reason. I believe that's a thing. That's 100% thing. The same way certain men who specifically date outside, or even women, whatever, date outside and if we go down the route, we'll get to the bottom of why you and them underlying things would be there. A self-hate would be there, or an insecurity would be there. It's some type of thing would be there. Again, I'm not saying that it is for everybody. Yeah. But how we got to this point, there's definitely factors where those factors are at play. Whether just in terms of just white supremacy. I know you don't like that word, Joshua. I'll say Babylon to you. I'll say Babylon for your purposes. But that's definitely that is a factor as to how we got here. Yes, so things have evolved and stuff. But my issue is I don't like the denial of it. Like it doesn't play a part when it 100% does. I don't like. Let's not do that. Yeah. Yes, styling, all of that, and that also is a thing. But there are also passing down generationally where it now becomes a thing where it's been so muddied that now it can be just like, oh no, it's where it's just not even so much so you're not even thinking about it. But if you actually again peel the layers, you would get to the root of, and to me it's not a positive one.
Good morning, King Mono, and good morning, Izzy Bambino. Emmanuel, there are a couple of questions that
Morning.
I've just favorited, right? The first one is a shape up self-hate?
Absolutely not. Because a shape up
This is
doesn't.
getting stupid now.
A shape up obviously doesn't make. I'm not taking on anything white. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying okay,
So,
cool.
Emmanuel, can I say something quick?
Yeah.
So, just because I'm gonna jump off and go back into the audience, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like like with this question that we're having, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we actually, as a community, ready to hear what other people's opinions are? Because this is where I think, like, until we answer that question, we're gonna just be having questions where it's like someone crying out in the town centre, like, Wigs is self-hate, Wigs is self-hate. Like, if you could be saying that forever, but what are you asking me to do on the other side? And if you're presenting this as a criticism, on the other side, are we like able to, like, when I went to uni to do screenwriting, and my teacher said, when you write your stuff, you're going to read it to the class, and then you have to go to the front and sit on your hands, innit? Then the class is going to tell you what they think. Your first urge is to start moving your hands up and start defending yourself, innit? Because you gesticulate to do that, innit? Whilst you talk. You're not allowed to do that. So you have to sit on your hands and listen, innit? And as a community, sometimes I feel like, even if you don't like what's being said, you're not able to accept it and take accountability, because again, it may not apply to you, but it's being said for a reason, because it applies to some of us.
Yeah.
Earlier in the chat, in my other profile, I said that you talk about black people like they're a monolith, innit?
Or me.
When they're not, but and again, they're not. But if we're going to approach them as if they are, we need to have prescriptions rather than just like, if you do this, it equals this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
And actually be able to really like take on those hard questions, not be just saying that this person's a contrarian. It's like, no, listen to what they're saying, like the deeper parts of what they're saying, innit? Not like the gassy bits of clips that you heard for face. Just go listen, be patient, listen in silence, and like try to hear for the deeper messages. But I really feel like we struggle with that as a community because none of us are dickheads. What, you're saying this about me? No, I rate myself. I couldn't possibly think that about myself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because we have that ego and our backup, because we tend to come from the lower demographics and we really fight for what we have. That's why when we go out, we look good. That's why we make sure, not me, we make sure we have the shape up. We make sure we have all of that stuff. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Like because we have really deep in sense of self-pride.
Yeah.
So, but on the other side of that, that means, well, our ego's now getting in the way, so we're not able to accept criticism. And I'm not going to be one that's going to say, well, that's only women that can't accept accountability. That's why we're having this conversation, because we're saying that when we're both unable to actually take accountability. Black men would love to bleed with black women, but when we have that thing about sometimes it's the attitude that we're barriers, they're not able to accept that. And then when they have accusations against the black man, we're not able to accept it, so we just go further apart. When we need to surrender, become really vulnerable, and then come together. Because again, like Rob said, when he has disagreements,
God damn
I
it.
think it's gone underground.
What's going on, Tom?
Damn.
just called me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can, you know.
Sorry. Yeah, it's not coming from a place of malice. So we need to accept that these are our brothers and sisters. These are our cousins. Yeah, some of us were not related to you. A man's going to try a link for sure. But that's essentially what we're dealing with, innit? If we can step out of our pants and just not be so guilt orientated, and I know this because that's the type of guy that I am, you know. If we can step outside of that, yeah, we can actually make progress, because we could have this conversation every week forever.
Yeah.
But how are we as a community going to take action? That's what I want to understand from the end of this conversation, if that makes sense.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree that again, if you're gonna be online just every day talking about, I don't know, the indictment on wigs and blah, 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 and you're just leaving it at that, then no, that's not moving the conversation forward. So I hear it in the terms of the way the conversation is going about. I don't think is correct. I think there needs to be allowances for the deeper conversations.
Yeah.
There does, but then also, I think, I guess it goes back to what Josh was saying in terms of if we now can get vulnerable with each other, then obviously we'll allow for that.
Yeah.
But obviously, I think the problem is now the defenses are
Up, innit?
the defenses are so up because people take it as an opportunity to just to do insults.
Yeah.
Whereas it's not to.
And nobody's perfect, man.
No.
Can I come in
we
on the
shouldn't
back
have
of that
approach.
statement?
Yes.
Good morning.
Good
Can you
morning.
hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yes,
we
we
can.
can.
Morning. Yeah, morning. Big up day after show. Brent, your man, first time called in. So my thoughts of this, I've got 2 black daughters and a wife.
Big up you.
And I think that when it comes to the subject of wigs, the first thing we have to identify is the fact that black women are the most gaslit women on the planet in terms of their physical beauty. And actually, aside from the topic of wigs, and I regularly bring this up, they are the women that are least likely to alter their looks in any dramatic way. Other women alter their bodies to imitate black women, okay? And that's a fact. All other races of women, they attempt to increase the size of their rear ends. Yeah, let's be real. That's not their natural form. They're doing something that's unnatural. Okay, going to the gym is good, but focusing specifically to make your make your rear end look more like a black woman's rear end, that's socially acceptable. They put in cheek fillers to make their cheeks project like a black woman's, that's socially acceptable. They put in lip fillers to make their lips project like a black woman's, that's socially acceptable. They tan heavily, that's socially acceptable. Or if you're even going to parts of the Middle East and Asia, where bleaching is endemic in the culture, and they're completely changing their physical appearance through bleaching much more than black women do. When I say endemic, I mean it's sold like skin cream from birth in the Middle East and Asia. That is also seen as socially acceptable. All of these women around the world, every culture, have massive amounts of alteration that they do to their bodies, and it's seen as socially acceptable. Black women, on the other hand, I'd say their one vice, in my view, particularly in the Western world, is this wigs issue. So I think putting it in perspective, we have to start defending black women and saying, hey, look, this is a conversation, yes, we are going to have it, but at the same time, in the context of what other women are doing to their bodies, how they're mutilating themselves, how they're going under the knife, and more time our women don't do that. Let's put it in perspective and say, actually, let's celebrate, the fact that black women don't do too much. Yeah. Now, that aside, I do have 2 daughters and a wife, and I also reinforce the need to. I reinforce black beauty. I reinforce from the moment my kids have been born the fact that I prefer their natural hair, the fact it's beautiful. I just reinforce all of the benefits that black women's hair has, all of the things that they can do with their hair that other women can't do with their hair. And I feel that's a message that resonates. One of my daughters is 16 now. The other one is 11. And in my view, they've never had any doubt about their beauty. There's never, ever been any question or any desire for them to straighten their hair. I'm not going to lie, they do put extensions in their hair, so I allow for that. But for me, it's more of a, they have to emulate and accentuate natural black beauty if they want to do anything. And I think that goes back to this wigs topic, can't speak properly, because I think the only issue is that a lot of the wigs are very synthetic and they don't match African hair standards. They don't match African hair. They don't nothing like African hair. Yeah. Some of the wigs don't even look like African hair when it's relaxed. So I don't think it's just the case of the fact that women are putting on wigs, because like they said, black female hair care is a lot. And I know that from having 2 sisters growing up as well. It's a lot. It's not something you just kind of like roll out of bed. There's going to be a lot of preparation going to bed. It takes a routine. And if women are in a stage in their life where they can have started that routine, it can be difficult. And sometimes they're just tired and they can't. But the thing is, if you're going to wear a wig, why is a black hair wig not an option? Why is a wig that looks like even African relaxed hair, black relaxed hair, looks different than a lot of these synthetic wigs?
Why is that an option that's not being explored by some? I'm not going to say all. I think if it looked like black hair, maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Agreed.
That's just my...
Agreed. Firstly, thank you for calling out, my good brother. Secondly, I agree with you, man. I think that's what it is. I think if we saw black women wearing afros or hair that just look like their own, but it's a wig, I don't think anyone would have an issue. I don't think so. That's just me, though. Chrissy, I can see your face.
No. I'm just saying. I think it goes back to my point of how we got here, because there's a reason why when it's not that. It's not that.
Yeah, and this is why I guess I'm saying what I'm saying, innit? Because if it was like that, I don't think I would feel. In fact, I know I wouldn't feel that way. If I see a black woman down the street and she's got a big afro and I think it's not her hair, I don't ever, not one part of me thinks to myself, "Oh, she doesn't look a particular way," or self-hate. Or I don't think self-hate when I see someone with a weave anyway, right? But it's when you start thinking about it and going deep into it, then you start thinking to yourself, why does it have to be that though? Why does it have to be that? Why is it never the other thing? You know what I'm saying? And I think that is one of the biggest issues for me.
To me, it even goes deeper than that, because it traces back to even where you're getting the hair from.
Oh,
Who
100%.
are you getting the hair
100%.
from? Because I know for a fact, after that Peckham hair incident, I know a lot of black women are still going back to the Asian man to get the products and the hair.
Yeah.
Good morning, Demi. It's the first time I've actually seen you and King's Monologue in the same place. Read into that as you wish. Before you speak, Easy Bambino, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think pretty much most of what I wanted to say has already been said. So I guess what I'll do is try and link back to the original topic of the day. So I think this is kind of like the biggest criticism of the whole non-negotiable argument, which I think is how we got to the hair topic, because I guess a lot of women would rather see this topic as a non-negotiable rather than actually take it in and kind of come with better arguments. Because like, I think we've heard things about gym and protection to the hair, which is valid, but I think it was King's monologue, I think it is,
Yes,
who kind of raised the point that, I mean, wigs that look like afro hair are just as protective, so why is that not an option? And I guess, yeah, to link back to the topic of the day, with the whole non-negotiable angle, who really protects what is non-negotiable, because things like this are always going to be divisive. So yeah, that's kind of like my main point.
thank you, Gina. What's your opinion on that? The question I'm asking is, why not wear a Soul Glow afro? It's still protective.
Yeah, it's an option, I guess. I just haven't dabbled there. I haven't.
Not even for like Halloween.
I don't celebrate Halloween.
So, would you try it if I get you one?
What, the Afro wig?
Look at you.
No.
That could be cute.
I wouldn't.
How come?
I don't know. I wouldn't. I don't,
Do you like the message it reinforces?
No, not even that, but why would I have I'd rather just
Continue as is.
No, but if my hair was big enough to wear as an afro, then I'd wear as an afro. Remember, remember I shaved off all my hair last year, innit? So,
Yes.
yeah. Anyway, yeah.
There's a lot of wind. Joshua, before you speak, Demi has to chime in because he was waiting patiently. Good morning, Demi.
Morning, Brent. Good morning, everyone.
We are blessed and highly favored. What are your thoughts?
Do you know what? Just a couple of things. So on the wig issue, to be fair, I think I agree mostly with King's monologue. Am I echoing?
No.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, no, I think I agree mostly with King's monologue. I think a lot of women of different races do different things to, enhance their beauty, and I don't feel like black women should be singled out for doing this one thing. I'm not saying that they don't do other things, but I just don't feel like it's that. I don't want to say it's not deep, because I think there are issues to be addressed within it. And for instance, you could say that about a lot of different things. For instance, maybe bleaching and other issues. But in general, I feel like let's just leave it to the women as far as this topic goes, in my opinion. And just going back to my second point, which was the non-negotiables thing that Izzy mentioned a second ago, because obviously I had made that point earlier. And I don't know about this topic being a non-negotiable, but I think what I'm speaking more to in general is about like issues that we think as a group. So some people may see certain things as groupthink. Like I think, you know, typically there are certain like phrases within, let's say, I don't want to say like people that are contrarians, but there's a school of thought that where people think certain things that are like fundamental agreements, they see them as groupthink. Like generally speaking, let's say the idea of agreeing that racism exists or like white power structures exist within the West and kind of subjugated Africa, like that's a common fundamental that like a lot of Black people have, right? But some people might see that as groupthink. So when I make a point about non-negotiables, I'm talking more so like things that are like fundamental, that I'm trying my best to describe this, but what I'm trying to say is that with these points, typically a broad group of Black people agree with them, and I think that is rightfully so, and we shouldn't be kind of put down for agreeing with those points, basically. So, but whereas I see a lot of people who like kind of make the contrarian point and say, you know, this is groupthink, this is bad. And then when people talk about having differing views, they never really expand beyond like upon that topic. So for instance, the whole Kemi thing, for example, people always say, oh, you know, we should, just because she has different views, we shouldn't put her down, we shouldn't do this, do that. But why don't we actually like dig into what she believes? And when we dig into those things, they're clearly antithetical to everything that Black people are trying to like push forward and trying to like improve in ourselves. So then that's why we say, I see it more than just different views. Like a different view to me is that you believe in high tax, I believe in low tax. That's a different view to me. What is not a different view is saying that colonialism wasn't that bad, or that white privilege doesn't exist, or Black people take racism too far. Like those to me are not different. That's why I can't just label everything under a bunch of like a phrase of, oh, let's just accept different views. There's different, like I said, high tax, low tax. That's a different view. Things that are literally antithetical to my like progress as a Black person, those to me, that doesn't make sense as just putting that under the same bracket of, oh, it's just a different view.
I agree, Demi. And I feel like a lot of people use that as a way to cover certain people's faves.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because I just feel like there's, like I said, groupthink is one thing, but a lot of the time people use that stick to beat us as if we can't all agree. Like for instance, a lot of different groups agree on certain things. That's not a bad thing. Like there's nothing wrong with groups like that have common interest agreeing on certain things. But when it comes to Black people, oh no, we're not a monolith. We can't do groupthink. Like we can, like it's almost, I feel like it's almost a targeted thing, like almost against Black people specifically. Like we're never like allowed to have these fundamentals because, oh no, we're not a monolith. And that specific phrase of monolith, it's such a talking point that I hear constantly, and I feel like as soon as I hear it, I know the point that they're trying to make, but because it's such a talking point, and specifically it's a talking point that's usually pushed by a right-wing narrative. And again, not saying right-wing, left-wing is necessarily bad or good, but there's a very specific anti-Black, white supremacist, right-wing set of ideals that pushes certain talking points. So then when I hear those talking points, it immediately just triggers my mind to, like it makes a connection. And I know maybe rightly or wrongly, but I mean, we all consume political discourse, right? And I think certain talking points and phrases come from certain areas. And I feel like we have to be cognizant of that. And that's why like sometimes people automatically hear a phrase like Black people are not a monolith, and we already know where that's coming from. Like we know, like the sentiment of what you're saying is perfectly fine, but that phrase in itself comes from somewhere.
I agree, Demi.
Could I ask a question on that?
That term pisses me off.
Same, Christy, honestly.
Going easy.
Yeah, just a few points. I guess a quick one would be who dictates what is, or who sets, I guess, the standard or the ideas that we should all follow. And then secondly, we, I guess, acknowledge that some ideas that we disagree with exist, whether it be in Black people or white people. So I guess my immediate thought is people are going to be critical of race or slavery, white supremacy, all of these things, would we not prefer those criticisms to come from Black people as opposed to white people? Just a immediate thought. But I guess the main query I had is like, who dictates what we should all think?
So just to respond to that, who dictates what we should all think? I think we should dictate what we all think, surely, as in we should, I'm not saying that the collective should decide your mind for you, but I'm saying that you can't, for instance, if the majority of Black people who are, let's say, wanting progress for the Black group or whatever, I'm phrasing this badly, but what I'm trying to say is, if like majority of people who are progressive in the Black community agree with a certain view, that's the view. So you can't come in and now bring your directly opposing view and say this is the view, because they've already decided. You can obviously, you're allowed to have your opposing view, but you can't come in and then say, no, my opposing view should be the view when they've already decided. So what's people typically making the point that you're making, more called groupthink, is just the group deciding what they've already decided. So when you ask who should decide, the group was already decided. That's why you see these views as groupthink, because you already know they exist, because the group was already decided.
And I guess on the second point, in terms of criticisms that I guess this group of Black people don't agree with, would we not prefer those criticisms to come from other Black people as opposed to just white people? Because I think Iman made this point before, maybe about Kemi's comments on Nigeria, and separately, I think maybe we should have a discussion specifically about Kemi's comments, because I tried to do my own research, ChatGPT, whatnot. I think what I looked at and kind of queried to myself is, could someone be pro-Black, which Kemi doesn't need to be because she's in public office, but could someone be pro-Black and still have some of the statements she has? Again, maybe I've missed some statements, but maybe it's worth digging into that on a separate episode. But yeah, I guess my query.
So I'll give you a
criticism from other Black people.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, these criticisms from other Black people, is that not better than having it just from white people?
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. But just on that point as well, I think what you're saying, again, in principle, I think is absolutely correct. I think these criticisms, I would much rather hear them from Black people. However, I'm not trying to hear them from Black people that are obviously pushing white supremacist propaganda. Like, for instance, on this show, right, specifically, Iman and Esther talk a lot about how, there's bad governance in Nigeria, there's issues. I think loads of people on the show have spoken about it. People on this show, to me, are pushing like progress for Black community. So I'm happy to listen to them about these issues. And these are the Black people I want to listen to about, whatever's going wrong in Nigeria or whatever's happening in Africa, how we can like build up and so on. Like, that's enough for me. I don't need to take in the exact same and even possibly watered down views from someone who's clearly pushing white supremacist propaganda. Like, yeah, that's just my view. Like, I can already, there's loads of people talking about this already. There's people in my family talking about this. There's people on TV talking about this. People that are actually for Black people are talking about this already. Like, she's not expanding on anything, and she's just adding anti-Black propaganda on top. So I don't see the value that she's bringing to the conversation.
I guess fair. I think, yeah, this is probably an example where different ideas but similar goal, really. So yeah, I think we just, I guess, agree to disagree. But I guess generally in terms of the topic of the day, we aren't a monolith, and we shouldn't really see that term as being weaponized. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that Black people have different opinions on things. I think the biggest thing that might hold back us as a community is this assumption that people with different ideas have nefarious intentions, when really they just might have a different path to the same goal. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, Izzy, I completely, sorry, Brent, just one final thought. I do agree with you that I don't think we should see people with different opinions. But again, you have to be like specific about what you mean by different opinions. Because for instance, if I'm saying, everyone deserves to live, and then someone comes to me and says, oh no, do you know what? We should kill some people who are X, Y, and Z. Like, while that is a different opinion, to me, that is not acceptable. So there are different opinions, but there are also things that I find unacceptable. So while they can be grouped under the wording different opinions. There are certain things that maybe for me, I think cross the line. So maybe that's just the bit where I find it like you can have a different opinion, but also that majority of black people disagree with you, and it can also be justified that they do disagree. And I think that's why I feel like this conversation we always get stuck, which is that people will just say, we're allowed to have a different opinion. But what is that different opinion? Like, is this actually harmful to black people? Then of course they're not going to agree with you.
No, 100% agree. I put it in the chat as well, just finally for me. I guess, people that may have ideas that are counterintuitive to the shared goal, it's just whether we treat them as having bad intentions, really.
All right, so a few times you've come on and spoken about Kemi Badenoch, Izzy, right? And I know why I don't like Kemi Badenoch. I asked Emmanuel the other day if he thinks that Kemi Badenoch is pro-black, and he said no, right? Do you think that she's pro-black?
No.
All right, and can you tell me why it is that you like Kemi Badenoch?
When did I say I like Kemi Badenoch?
All right. Do you like Kemi Badenoch?
No, I'm not a fan.
All right. So when I share my concerns about Kemi Badenoch being in power, and when this particular forum...
Technically, she's not in power. She's just in a position.
No, of the Conservative Party. She has influence.
Okay.
Do you agree that she has influence?
I mean...
Oh, you don't think she
it's debatable, but
interesting.
So what, she's just a token, a figurehead then? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, oppositions are just there to critique the government. When the Conservatives were ruining the country for 14 years, I wasn't sure anyone was pointing the finger at Labour as opposition. So to suggest that Kemi now has all this power, I think it's a bit disingenuous.
All right, fair enough.
So she's basically a token.
When you say token,
I mean, she's a tool to criticize the government, like all opposition, really.
All right, thank you very much, Izzy Bambino. I want to continue this discussion, but no, because I don't want to pivot or segue from what it is we're speaking about. But I think we've spoken to death about the
hair.
Yeah, about the hair.
Yeah. I just think.
Can I just jump in on one point?
Yes.
Just going back to the Kemi Badenoch thing, and I heard a statement that I thought was quite interesting, and I think everyone just agreed, and we just all moved on. And that was that. Well, Kemi's in a position. I'm paraphrasing here, by the way. Kemi's in a position of power, so obviously she can't be Black Power or can't be for the Black community. Something along those lines.
No.
And this is a common rhetoric that I see echoed. As Black people, we have very little expectations when our people, or when people who share our skin tone, because Kemi Badenoch is definitely not our people, but yeah, when people who share our skin tone access positions of power, we instantly expect them to relinquish the fact that they're Black, or relinquish any specific focus or specific care for the Black community. And that's a problem, because this is something that no other group has to do or does. When Asians get in power, they can come up with definitely pro-Asian policies, or policies that benefit the Asian community, and no criticism comes their way. In America, if Mexicans get in power, it's almost like an expectation that they're gonna do something to nice up Mexicans. But when Black people get in power, be it here or in America, it's like they're expected to just forget that they're Black. And I think we accept that. And I think this is something, once again, that we need to push back on. It's like, yeah, okay, you're Black and you're in power and you're not supposed to exclusively help us. But at the same time, you can remember the fact that the disadvantageous position that we've been placed in throughout all communities is not normal. And it's been manufactured, and there are things in our cultures that need to be addressed, and there are specific areas where our community does need to be specifically helped. So I've got a view on that, and I feel like we just need to be pushing back more when it comes to our Black people in power in terms of expectations to help, quote unquote, the Black community. Yeah, that was it. I just wanted to kind of chime in and make that point, because I think we just kind of sit back and we just accept it. And I don't think it's something that we necessarily should accept that our black people in power are going to be completely ineffective for our progression.
So, question. Thank you so much so far. Who posited that thing that you just said that you heard?
Say again?
Who said that?
I'm not sure. It might have been, like I said, I paraphrased. I don't think they said it in those words, but that's what I definitely picked up. The fact that, okay, well, they're in power, so we're not expecting them to help black people. And it's something that it's not just us here in the UK, it happens in America as well. As soon as black people get to power, they're useless.
Yeah, was it Emmanuel?
I think everyone kind of nodded and agreed. So it wasn't like I can't single anyone out, because I think that's generally the consensus.
There are two male voices in this room.
Was it? I think it was. Was it like literally just before you spoke?
Yeah, not too long before.
I think it was your back and forth with Izzy. So when you mentioned about when you asked, does she have power? Or something along those lines, and I think he said, "Well, that's debatable, isn't it? Because of, you know what I mean? Like, it was basically that exchange, right?
I hear you, but he was suggesting that when a black person is in power, they can't help the black community.
Yeah,
who said that?
Definitely. I think our expectation, we've learned. I think it's from the Obama days. We've learned. Obama's spent his entire time in office not making a single specific policy to help black community, not a single one. He came up with lots of general policies that help general groups, but not a single one that specifically helped the black community, even though there are a massive demographic in America. And even though Mexican and other ethnic minority people of power in his position will blatantly come up with policies help their community specifically. They'll come up with this reform program, that reform, but when it comes to black people, it's like, oh no, we can't expect anything specifically. He's the president of the United States, he's not the president of black people. It's like, yeah, and black people are part of the United States who are in a specific position of imbalance because of racist policies, and so therefore they need beneficial policies to counterbalance the racist policies that place them in that position. But we never had that expectation. We've kind of learned, I think, through a series of bad experiences, we have such low expectations for anybody specifically trying to improve our position, to the point where it's, like we were saying earlier, the subject of reparations is taboo in a lot of it. Oh, don't talk about reparations, oh, he's woke. It's like, no, this is something other communities get reparations who have been through far less. So why is this a taboo subject? It shouldn't be a taboo subject.
All right. So I think, Emmanuel, you know how you normally say no party loves black people, they don't care about us, right? Mm-hmm. And if there is somebody in a position of influence that is black, we shouldn't expect them to help us. I never said that part though. Is that what you're saying? I'm thinking that off the back of you saying that no party is in for our best interests, right? I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about before. And if you now see somebody who's in a place of influence in the political party, by proxy, we shouldn't just expect them to help us. We should keep the same energy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Maybe that's how he came up with this, because I think there's an expectation when we see a black person in a position of power. Yeah. What are you doing to help us? Yeah. Do you understand? And then when we find out, oh, you're just a motherfucking puppet, we get vexed and we're like, coon. So for me, there's expectation. Do you know the thing until is that you show me who you are? I think that's a good point that you guys are making here. But do you think there's always an expectation? The reason why I'm saying that is because do you feel it's more so an expectation on people who have always appealed to the black community on their way up? Yes, if you don't know who they are, because look at you just think black and you think, well, and you're supposed to be seeing us as your people. But when it is you start talking, when it is that we now find out your character and your principles and values and whatnot, we're like, oh crap, another one. No, yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that with Obama, at least from the beginning of when he was known in Chicago, he was doing what he was doing,
he always kind of spoke to black people, resonated with him, right? So it felt as though he was being pushed up by black people, and he was kind of bringing black people along the way. At least this is what I think the sentiment was, right? I don't think Kemi has ever done that in her career. I don't think she's ever tried to say anything positive directly about black people and the black community and what the black people need and things of that nature, for us to then think when she gets there, we should expect something.
We're doing too much of the generalizing. I know Kemi. I knew her before she became conservative leader. I was not expecting anything of Kemi.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's because I know her. I'm talking about those who don't know.
Okay, so basically just see them one day.
100%.
Okay,
until
cool.
it show themselves
Yeah,
to you,
okay.
there's expectation,
Yeah,
right? Because you see them and you think, one of us, and then they start talking. The same with stupid Lammy. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, Go on.
What expectations do we place? Because I don't see these expectations. I see zero expectations for anyone who's black and manages to access any kind of power. I don't think there's any expectation put on them. I think the only expectation you put on is please don't embarrass us when you get there. Or please don't turn into a Kemi Badenoch and go full, Nazi against black people given every opportunity. This is what people like Candice Owens and Kemi Badenoch do. They are literally the totally anti-black publicity, and incredibly dangerous, by the way, because what they do is more than just rhetoric. A lot of people will say, well, it's just words. But actually what they do is more than just rhetoric, because the people behind them making policies find justification to do incredibly heinous things when they have a colored person or a black person add the sounding board for the ideas before they get placed into law, like we saw with that witch who was with the conservatives, who made the Rwandan deportation laws. Can't remember what her name is.
Pick one.
Suella
and Pretty. Both of them.
Suella. There you go, Suella, who was pretty. Yeah, she was a witch, and she was only able to do that because she wasn't white. Because any white person doing that would be like, "What the heck are you doing?" But because she's Asian, she's brown, she was able to do it. And by the way, can I just address a comment that I saw in the chat where it said, well, Rishi was Prime Minister. Was he making laws just for Asian people? Maybe not overtly, but covertly, absolutely he was. He did a lot of hiring of Asians into the Conservative Party, and I'm hearing that went all levels. So there was a massive increase in terms of the Asian subscription to the Conservative Party, and he passed a load of policies that helped specifically Asian businesses. They might not get the fanfare that people expect them to get, but yes, people tend to help their demographic groups. His other demographic, which was billionaires, also benefited massively. So it's like, yes, when people get into power, they remember who they are. They do things to help the groups they come from, apart from black people. It's like we have a massive resistance to do anything. In fact, saying the word black now in public is racist. If you say the word, you can say anything else. You can say Asian, you can say this, you can say that. But if you say the word black as a black person, you're being racist. That's how bad it is. You're not even allowed to say the word black. Has Kemi ever said the word black, apart from in a denigrating way?
Good points. Just pause there for a second, please, Demi. I want you to chime in just now. Yeah. You said, King's monologue, Andrew. You said that you think that it is incredibly dangerous what Candice and Kemi do and say. Do you agree with that, Emmanuel?
I knew you were going to bring that up. It's so unnecessary. It can be dangerous, but to me, I think there's other things that's worse. So to me, it's not the biggest thing in the world. You know what I mean? And because I don't look to them as people who are going to shape or have ever tried to be leaders of the black community. There's enough black people who don't like them anyway. Do you get what I'm saying? That's how I see it. But
they are going to shape things, though.
No, but I mean, like, in terms of, for us, in terms of like them leading us, black people, and doing certain things for us, they don't even have any interest in that particular role.
Absolutely. But the point is that they're not there for us. They're there literally to be the antithesis of us. They're there to actually further push us back. And Kemi Badenoch is pushing us back actively. This is what you call active, this is active resistance against black progression. this is what she's doing, and she's very, very open about it. You know, that's dangerous. She's targeting Black community, I would say. You know, I think she made a statement the other day about that show that came out, that
Yeah,
Adolescence.
yeah.
I don't know if you heard that soundbite where she said it should have been a Black boy.
Yeah.
Izzy didn't hear that.
Something. So, you know, she's made a statement about this show Adolescence, which is about red pill community. I'm told. I haven't watched it because I saw a clip of it. It had Ashley Waters in it doing his usual stuff, but I turned it off. But that aside, she made a statement and said, "Oh well, it should have been a Black boy," and it's kind of like that kind of inflammatory, negative, racial hatred towards Black people is very, very dangerous. It's very dangerous. And no white politician would have even had the gall to say it. But she's coming out and saying this stuff, and it really pushes us back. You know, so she, you know, what she's doing is, you know, it's very evil, I would say, personally. Even her statements against Nigeria, like you said, you know, these are statements that aren't made with any kind of educated thought process. You're just throwing out literal the worst. The way she's phrasing the worst semantics against Black and African people that she can think of, without giving any kind of educated background. And these are things that she would never do against any other community. She'd never dare to say something blanket about the Asian community, or blanket about India, or blanket about white community, or blanket about. She would never do that. She'd tread very carefully and make sure she's well researched. But because she's anti-Black people can say anything they want, regardless of how miseducated it is.
Demi, would you like to respond to these salient thoughts that have been shared on this Good Friday morning?
No, these are good points. To be fair, just to say, I actually agree with his monologue on a lot of what he said just now about Kemi. To be honest, I think she is practically evil and just a puppet of white supremacist propaganda. However, one point I did want to push back on, I think you made earlier, was about the Obama thing. And I think, to be honest, Obama himself could probably be a topic of the day on his own, as whatever he did or didn't do and so on. But I do feel like he's a little bit unfairly castigated by Black people. Because I'm going to take a bit of an E-man sort of approach with this when I say this. But for example, right, we look at in the context of everything that Andrew mentioned, right, when he's talking about, you know, it's almost offensive to even say the word Black nowadays, and there's just like Black people aren't allowed to express their pro-Blackness, and they're not comfortable to kind of express their Blackness in a public way. And I kind of see some of the criticisms of Obama, if you even think about the context of which he was elected in, the whole like questioning his American nature, like questioning his birth certificates and all of that, like people not even like feeling that he was patriotic enough or this or that enough. So in that context, as a Black person, obviously not to kind of ruin where he was at, I guess he had to make some choices, which maybe weren't popular, and let's say with the Black community. But for example, if we take the indirect effects approach, like what Eman always talks about, for example, with Trump, to say it doesn't matter what Trump says, but if he's doing things that actually indirectly help Black people, surely that's a good thing. When we talk about Obamacare, Affordable Care Act, for example, the amount of Black people that were uninsured like drastically reduced under Obama. So healthcare for Black people significantly improved. But obviously they would have been caught under that group of the poorest people, and Obamacare directly addressed that in terms of reducing the uninsured rate amongst like Black people, obviously poor people specifically, but obviously Black people making up a quite significant portion of that, meaning that a lot more Black people had access to way better healthcare because of Obama. Economic initiatives as well. When we talk about the fact that Black unemployment actually fell during Obama's like reign, for example, I think it literally around halved during Obama's presidency. Now, these weren't direct effects of Obama saying, "Oh, you know what, I'm going to do this for Black people," but he was targeting, like, again, with maybe more left-wing policies, targeting things to help people that were poorer, but having that indirect effect of lifting Black people up. Even the initiatives that he did after the when Tamir Rice was killed, I remember there was a community initiative, and this was actually specifically targeted at people of color, for example, about like building up communities. I can't remember the name of the exact initiative, but it was about building up communities. But essentially what I'm trying to say is, within all this context of like what he was going through. And I'm not trying to make this an Obama topic. I'm just saying that maybe within the context that we're discussing and how difficult it is to be like openly pro-black, maybe some of the second order effects that he created, could we champion those possibly?
Well, the way you're looking to find ways to celebrate his tenure is kind of like the same way Emmanuel looks to find ways to celebrate Kemi's.
Yeah, no, agreed. That's why I said I'm taking a bit of an E-man approach with this when I started.
Sorry,
to be
I
fair, I'm not.
So you probably said that at the beginning of the conversation when I wasn't listening. But sorry, my bad.
Yeah, fair enough.
My bad.
But yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Demi. Izzy Bambino, your thoughts? Sorry about all of this Kemi sound. I apologize.
No, it's fine. I heard the indirect stuff, but I'll call up. But yeah, just actually on that, I actually do agree with Demi on his last point. I wasn't actually thinking about it, but yeah, that is a good point because I think it also goes the other way where I feel people need to be heavily critical of Obama to justify the same level of criticism they have for Kemi, which isn't necessarily fair, depending on what side you want to see it from. Yeah, just on this whole Kemi stuff, I think we need to be somewhat specific with what we quote, because I guess if everyone's operating on different amounts of information, and I've tried my best. I've gone specifically to look at these anti-black statements using Gemini, ChatGPT, etc. And I keep just asking these comments are comments I don't like, but are they specifically anti-black?
So her saying that the character should have been a black, it was intimated that it should have been black. So what would you call that then? The whole series, she admittedly and openly said she never watched the series, but then went on to now further say, oh, they race swapped the character and it should have been a black, the protagonist should have been black, a boy.
So what I saw, I think the quote is from an LBC interview, and I think what she was referring to was something that was spread quite commonly, that the true story was based on someone that wasn't white. I don't think she actually used the word black, but I'm sure Gemini...
No, she did. I saw the clip, Izzy, please. I saw the clip. She said it out of her own mouth.
That the character should have been black.
That's basically intimated that they basically swapped out the character and that they did that purposely, that it should have been a black character.
I guess, I mean, to be fair, it could have been intimated as well. I guess the question is someone saying the character should have been black one of these non-negotiables, horrible opinions that should never be shared, or a criticism that you would rather come from a black person than a white person?
But the criticism of something that she didn't even watch.
Oh no, I think her opinion is stupid. I don't see the reason. So it's stupid, but it's
not anti-black.
Oh yeah, 100% it's stupid, but it's not.
It's not anti-black.
Problematic.
It's not problematic.
Yeah.
Okay, see, this is where.
Yeah,
I think his threshold is a bit different than yours.
No, I know. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Are people not allowed to share opinions that are allowed to be disagreed with? I'm not sure what we're saying, because I mean, I'd rather have these opinions shared and then challenged publicly than not shared at all, and then just.
Izzy, you're sharing it right now, and she's challenging it. So both are in the same position. You'll disagree with this particular point. She's not telling you stop talking.
Oh no, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about Kemi's stance on the whole adolescence. I don't agree with it. I also think it's stupid, but it's an opinion that is probably commonly shared with black people, white people, etc. And I think by her voicing it allows people to critique her publicly as well.
What opinion? As in,
you think so? That was a shared opinion.
You think that the show should have been a black?
I didn't know that was a shared opinion amongst us.
I think we're conflating opinions people agree with what I would personally agree with. So I'm sure there's a lot of white people, black people that also think this show was somehow whitewashed. Obviously, it wasn't.
How?
Just whitewashed as in took a black story and placed it with white characters.
No, I get that, but I mean, you said although you don't believe that, you believe that a lot of people do think that, and I'm asking like how. So if you don't believe that, why do you think everybody else does?
Because a lot of people have been vocal about the same point.
Have they?
Question.
It
Izzy,
was quite common that a lot of people said that it was whitewashed.
the manosphere, right? This red pill community, the one that I guess sees Andrew Tate and the like as heroes. The majority of men, young boys, in your mind, that support or champion that kind of speak is what, in your opinion?
Toxic.
Cool.
I mean, you could get into specifics, but I would generally view it as toxic.
Race-wise.
I don't really see a race component, to be honest, but I might be missing something.
Fair.
A lot of white working class kids are indoctrinated in the whole red pill stuff as well. Maybe because we're black, we don't really see it as much, but
yeah, I mean, Andrew Tate is running around saying that the white young population, male population is dying, and they need to combat against this. I'm not sure if you're aware of that particular type of rhetoric that he exposes, but I'm aware that there are 100% male blacks in the incel community, the manosphere and this, that, and X. But overwhelmingly, I see white people, white males. Do you understand? That's what I'm seeing left, right, and center. So, that's what I'm seeing.
Hence why I asked the question of what made you go with that verse.
Yeah.
Because if it was about gang knife crime, do you know what I mean? I feel like I would understand.
Got that.
Pardon?
The blacks got that.
That's why I'm like, what made people go with that verse with this? And I didn't know that it was a common conversation that people were having.
No, I see a lot of, like I said, I see a lot of black young men who are toxic, toxic masculinity, will share certain clips from Andrew Tate and, Myron and all them man there. But the majority of people that are called incels and join these groups and whatnot, they're white males. Maybe it's because of the proportion of it's always going to be bigger on the white side. I don't know, but I think it's nasty work what she did, to be honest.
Very
Especially
nasty work.
as
Very nasty
she didn't
work.
watch it.
Yeah, like
she volunteered the information. It should be the blacks.
everything with her just seems very unprovoked, or like she has to take it a step further. Like even her criticisms of her own people. Her being Nigerian. Me personally, I think the self-hatred for her.
Yeah,
she really wants to distance herself from being Nigerian. Personally,
Yeah.
I feel like that she really.
a lot of black people do. So again, that's one of the quotes, and I guess I don't want to say misinformation, but people just have different information, even maybe on my end. But that specific quote was her being quite specific to her roots in Yoruba land, if I'm not mistaken, and identifying more as a Yoruba person than a Nigerian person. And then that followed with Eamon's whole praise of her being a Yoruba woman. So again, are we saying that because she distances herself from Nigeria but aligns herself with Yoruba that she's anti-black? Because I'm sure there's a lot of pro-black people that also disagree with the existence of Nigeria as well.
Do you agree with that, Emmanuel?
Yeah, I'm one of them, innit? Basically one of them. I don't care necessarily for Nigeria. I care about Yoruba land. I care about those who care about Yoruba land, put it that way. So if we wanted to separate and have a whole North Nigeria and South Nigeria, I'm fine. Let's have an alliance with the Igbo people, with the Calabar people, with you know what I'm saying, with the Delta people, the Edo people. That's fine, because based on what I've seen over the years, there's just a lot of negativity coming from the north towards those of us in the south and in the west.
Sorry, just to be specific, you think that she shares your views about how to unite Nigeria?
I definitely don't.
Oh, no. I thought you were talking about...
He just said just now, the views that she exposed. Many Nigerians hold the same views.
About Nigeria... about what exactly?
Well, he's just referencing what she said.
Okay, Izzy, what exactly are you talking about? Because I thought you were just talking about the fact that she cares more so about Yoruba land and not necessarily about Nigeria. That's why I said I'm one of them.
I guess it's
You
not
think she
even
cares about
as
Yoruba
going
land?
as far to care. It's just acknowledging that she identifies as a Yoruba woman more than a Nigerian woman. And
She
then I
does.
think
And I
people
do.
people taking the Nigerian part and seeing that as her being anti-black.
So, question, Emmanuel.
Mm.
Do you
I
she
think that's
cares
just
about
her
Yoruba
playing
land?
both sides.
Say that
I
again?
think that's her playing both sides. She, Candy Stones does the same thing, where she says, "Oh, Nigerians are amazing. I wish I was Nigerian," but she's only doing that to denigrate the
African
Black
Americans.
American population. It's the only reason she does that. So Kemi Bay
That's
not to
the
say,
point.
"Oh, yeah, I don't agree with the state of Nigeria. You know, I'm Yoruba land." If we were split, she would be criticizing Yoruba land in the same way she criticizes Nigeria.
100%.
The woman is not about any kind of any kind of support. It's about playing offense to make it one black group against the other. So you've always got a problematic black group within your target. I ain't falling for that personally.
Again, I think this might be Black Robe's point about assuming intention, because I guess what I was just saying is that there are plenty of people that would identify as pro-black, but also identify as Yoruba and not Nigerian. So I guess just based on that statement alone, is it fair to assume her saying that she's Yoruba and not Nigerian is because she wants to play both sides?
I find it fascinating that
You might ask quiet.
no,
Oh, sorry.
Quiet about what? I don't have to talk all the time.
I just find it.
Because he's basically saying that she cares about Yoruba land, and I don't think she does.
No, but that's what he's saying. He's saying, how do you know? That's what he's saying. Before you throw someone in the
Because
bin,
by
how do
your
you know?
actions, no?
But that's fine. You know what I mean? But it's still, I think he's legit in saying, okay, cool. Let's bring these people to here and their arguments here, and let's interrogate those ideas before we say somebody's X, Y, and Z because of what they've said. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's interrogate that idea a bit more so that we can get to the intention. Don't assume it off the bat.
Okay, but
That's
we're
all I
not
think he's
assuming
saying.
off the back. It's not like she just popped up and she didn't speak.
No, we're not talking about the blackness part, right? He's talking about, in this specific example, about Nigeria. The fact that she's criticizing Nigeria. I've criticized Nigeria. Esther's criticizing Nigeria. I'm pretty sure you would criticize Nigeria. Because we know what Nigeria's like, right? But we at least know each other and know that we love Nigerian people. You know what I'm saying? And so I think he's also saying, because you've not had this dialogue, I don't want to put words in Izzy's mouth though, right? But you've not had this dialogue, we've not had this dialogue with Kemi. How do we know she doesn't share similar views to us? In that she's criticizing Nigeria as a whole, right? But loves Yoruba land.
Okay, because Izzy
But
said,
man, we can
no, sorry,
assume
hold on,
intent.
please. Hold on, please.
Sorry.
Izzy said that he's searched ChatGPT for all this stuff and can't find anything. I need to, can I ask Izzy what she has said where it, on the other side?
Got positive from that.
Please give me the positives then. If you can't find the negatives in what she says and you've struggled and you can't find anything that she says is anti-black, can you give me the positives that she said?
As to why he's made his mind up as to giving her the benefit
to
of the
be
doubt.
fair, that's based on perspective. Someone that identifies as Yoruba might be happy with that last quote. But again, I'm no fan of Kemi. I think she's bad for the Conservative Party. I think she's just there as a stepping stone because nobody wants to be in opposition where pretty much everyone voted for Labour. So she's probably there for a very short time. But I think I don't want to conflate the points I've made to me being supporting Kemi. It's just the level of criticism I'm wary of.
Thank you so much so far, Izzy. King's Monologue.
Also, I just want to add really quickly, you can assume intent after a single conversation with someone. I don't think you have to know them intimately. I think people can pick up on your energy and on your purpose, Iman, from the way you speak without having to know you. They have to listen to 6 shows. They can kind of get it. Even people who've just joined today will understand what you're about. And to say that we need to know Kemi deeper to understand what her views about Nigeria, I don't think that's the case. I think we can just assume intent from the statements that she makes.
Yeah,
I don't think it takes an investigative journalist to figure out that she's anti-black.
I hear you.
Yeah, but that's what I don't get. But
But you remember, I said
Different
before.
thresholds.
I said before.
Oh,
I
no,
might be
100%.
biased
People's
because of
thresholds.
her being Yoruba.
And it just brings me back to this whole topic of I feel
Diversity of thought.
yeah, like I feel like people champ to the point where I'm not saying that Black Rob or Izzy or they do this, but I think certain people do it in a way just to as a disguise to me personally of them like, oh no, but it's just a different opinion. And that's when I'm like, just like, where are we drawing the line? And this is I don't know how we get here personally, because for me there should be a line drawn in the sand at some point, and I feel like there are certain things that other communities draw the line in the sand in, and it is very clear, and they go forward. Yeah. For some reason,
Also,
we can't get there, and I don't know how. The monolith gets thrown around. Oh no, but you know, black comes in all different. Oh, black is not a label. All this stuff gets thrown in the pot, and I'm just like, when are we gonna get to a point where we draw a line in the sand and get to moving?
Could I ask a quick question on that?
Yeah, you can. Just 1 second though. You know, I just realized you are directly opposed to his particular position in this. Like both of y'all are bash, bash, push, bash. Is that how you say it, Gina? Bish, bash, push, bash.
Bash,
Bash, push, bash. Yeah, he is who you're talking to. He's the diversity of thought you're talking to.
No,
I just realized that.
It's not.
No?
Generally, she's basically saying, you know, it can be some particular way. But she's saying those people are veiling the whole diversity of thought as something else. Do you get what I'm saying? I ain't veiling anything. Everybody knows I love black people. That's without anything. Anyone who disagrees is a bloody agent. God damn it. That's what I'm saying.
My issue with my contention with E-Man is I don't. Again, I get the commitment, but my contention is his drawing of the line. Me and him don't draw the line at the same place.
Yeah, that's basically.
And that's, as you said, threshold. That's my only contention. Fair. However, I can also, just given because I know your overarching feelings, I can be like, okay, he still has where we're going. There's some people, I'm sorry, they ain't going. They can't go with me because they will stab me in the back. They can't go. So the Kemis and the Candice Owens of the world can never be on my side. I would never trust them. But for some reason, because of the sake of different opinions, they can be on side. They're not on side.
But you know the thing is, I think we have to be careful about what we're saying.
See
what?
Good morning, Godders, and good morning to Joe K. Just wait patiently while I see my.
What I was going to say is we have to be careful about certain things, because as much as, again, I can't speak for anybody else. As much as I may say, okay, cool, Kemi might have been truthful about this, or she might have said X, Y, Z, or I have some Yoruba bias towards her. Let's not get it twisted now. It's not a case of me trusting her. It's not a case of me trusting Candice Owens. Remember, I'm somebody who have said we should trust other people for like far less. You know what I'm saying? Far less. I've studied the lives of those who have been betrayed for decades, right? So for somebody who's as overt with the views they have, it's not a case of trust. It's me just, I guess, maybe hoping for the best. It's me maybe saying, you know what, this person who said this particular thing, on this particular matter, I think there's some truth there.
Yeah, but how many
times? You know what I'm saying? It's not me saying, let's put them in our ranking and our ranks and stuff. No, not at all.
You with your Chris Lamb self, you're not doing Jesus where I can forgive them 70 times. So you're not doing that.
Yeah, where's he plucking that grace from?
Again, that's not that, and to me, that's my issue with us as a whole, where like there's not a. I don't know. There's not a certain thing where we just generally draw the line in. For you to be like, okay, I'm hopeful. But at what point can you still be hopeful if they continue to show you?
No, but this is what I'm trying to say. Like, to me,
how many allowances are we going to give?
To me, it's not me again hoping, they come back to the black community. I don't care about that. Yet for most black people who are not even who don't say anything anti-black, I don't care for their opinions anyway. I don't think they're pro-black. I think we need to be pro-black. Just being neutral is not even enough. So for those people, like the Kemis, the Candice, I'm not expecting them to come back and, no, it's just me saying, wait, what they said on this particular thing, it was true though. You know what I'm saying? Let's not be so, despise somebody so much that everything they say is absolute garbage. Because in life, generally, we don't agree with anybody on every single thing. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to welcome them. I don't give a I don't care about them. I don't care about them like that at all.
I guess this is where the likes of you and maybe Black Rob would see that I'm too.
Yeah, because it's just down to an argument. That's what it is.
Because it's a switch off for me.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's a switch off.
This is why.
Yeah, I can get that they can say certain things and you can agree, but it's just like, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you can't find, so you're telling me you can't find anybody else where they agree?
Exhibits what you're saying with Terrence.
What do you mean?
It's completely switched off of him for this slight little.
Because it's not opinions.
but
that's maths. That's math, though. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm not gonna say, I'm not watching the Terrence Harris movie. I would never say that. For what?
You said just keep tap dancing. Go keep to the acting. Stay away from the sides. Because
you're not a scientist and you're saying stuff that's wrong.
Good morning, Chijoke. Good morning, Godders.
Good morning, good rising.
Sorry, Godders, before you chime in, I think Chijoke was waiting patiently before.
Good morning, guys. I think the problem is, and I think the issue that I sort of see with what Iman's trying to say with Kemi is when she's here speaking specifically about Nigeria, but trying to separate with Yoruba land, we still have to take into account the Nigerians that are here. We specifically relate to ourselves as Nigerians, but within our tribes as well. So when you do the separate talk and then say, when Nigeria is separate, we got to remember, I have a parent who went through the Civil War. So it just becomes a dangerous way of looking at, if she can separate herself from the Nigeria part because she had a bad experience when she was growing up in Lagos, it doesn't separate the fact that what she says generally for Black people in Britain and what she does and she tries to portray is still harming people who are living here. And I think that just trying to separate it doesn't make it any less dangerous. I know you say just words, but influence is still there because of who she is, who she's representing, especially when you try to portray her as like the first Black woman in a major party as the leader. That's still something, whether she's opposition or not.
Okay, so I'm two things. I'm not trying to portray her as the first Black leader of opposition or whatever. She is. I'm not trying to do anything. That's just a clear fact, right? Number two,
It was put there.
Fine, right? But she's still there, right? Number two, based on your logic then, are you saying I shouldn't be saying anything negative about Nigeria then?
I don't think saying something negative against Nigeria is what is just sticking, or she's making it sound like Nigeria can never progress in certain aspects, and that's the thing where it becomes a problem for me, because it's not like we're gonna say, if we did separate and it was just Yoruba land, she would suddenly start changing her tune. I don't think she will, and if you think she will, I think that's a bit naive.
You see, the thing is, I hear what you're saying, but you're wrong, right? Because and this is why it always comes across like I'm defending these people like Candace Owens, and because above anything, I just like for us as Black people, when we have a point that is pro-Black, that's positive for Black people, it's still a truthful point. One that, if interrogated, still stands strong, right? You're talking about the fact that she's talking about Nigeria, all that sort of stuff. There are people back home in Nigeria right now, pro-Yoruba people, right, who will only care about Yoruba nation, Oduduwa nation. That's all they care about. Who will say the same things, if not worse, than Kemi. Why can't they have that view?
On that.
Why can't they have that view? Why can't they have that view? Because remember, they're living it, you know. You're here in London, right? Your land is not being taken by the people from the north. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're women, our women, Yoruba women were being raped. Trigger warning, people. Being raped, beaten up, men being beaten up, taking their land because of cattle. This was happening.
I have family in the north. So,
all right, so you know what the people in the north are doing. So you know what the people in the north are doing to my land then, right?
But I'm also saying, because they're there, we also have to be careful on how we speak on it. Because just by saying it and just by sitting here saying, well, it's terrible. Okay, they're still living this experience. They're still there. They're not suddenly just going to move because Kemi Badenoch said Nigeria is horrible. They're still going to be there.
Be careful about what? Do you have that same energy for Palestine? Did we say be careful about the Palestinians because they're living it? My people in Yoruba land are suffering. She has every right to say it.
I don't think it's the same.
Why is it different?
I don't think it's the same. Because
why is it different?
What point are you trying to make with Palestine before I answer that?
The point you was making, that we need to be careful about what we say because there are people that are living their experience right now. That's what you said.
I'm saying specifically when she's talking about the separation, when she's talking about how horrible Nigeria is, I'm saying for us as Nigerians and for us who also identify with different tribes, I'm saying for the way she's portraying it and the way she's saying certain things, it's not to be, let's try and make this better. It's just like, I just think this place is horrible. And I think this place is horrible, and that's it.
I hear
and
what
that's
you're saying.
what I'm saying. So when we're talking about like Palestine and we're talking about what's happening over there, we're saying these are the atrocities, these are the things that we should be doing to try and stop. So when we're talking about, you know, the trade and saying the arms, don't give arms to Israel, that's specific points. She's not doing that.
I'm not saying that she is. And again, this is how it ends up looking like I'm defending her and defending Candace Owens. I'm just talking about the points you're making. And I'm simply saying to you, everything you're saying that you're applying to her, you can apply that same thing to people who are genuine back home in Nigeria or even here in the diaspora, right? Who care about Yoruba land. Are we going to say to them, keep your mouth closed, be careful about what you're saying? No, we care about it. We're passionate. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know her intention. I don't care. I'm not lauding her as the next black leader of our community or whatever. I don't care like that. I'm just talking about the points. Do you get what I'm saying? So we have to be right with our points. That's what I'm trying to say.
But if we've established that these people are not pro-black, then why do I need to take anything from them?
You don't. That's what I'm saying to you. You don't. I'm not saying we should do anything for Kemi. I don't care enough. I care about the point.
Yeah, but even the point then.
Yeah, what do you mean?
If you yourself are saying she's not even pro-black, you've said that.
Yep.
You wouldn't trust her.
Mm-hmm.
All these things. Mm-hmm. So then.
Because I'm just talking about the point that somebody makes. If the point they're making is something that we can gain from,
why is it specifically them though? So and their point can't be,
of course, it can.
Someone else's.
She said something else.
No, because a lot of people hone into specifically them.
Yeah, because that's
and
the thing.
And they make them a figurehead, and they make that their points is so poignant.
Yeah.
It was so poignant for the black community that, oh my God, yeah, that's so right. That was so right, you know, what they said.
But that's what those people say. That's not me though. I criticize her equally. That's how I see it. You know what I'm saying? When she was talking about adolescents, I said it was foolishness. I said this. You know what I'm saying? To me, I don't care enough about it.
Good morning,
she's not pro-black.
Hey man, can I ask a question quickly?
Yo, yes.
Do you think we should care about the point KKK leader has to say about the black community? Any of their points?
What the KKK has to say?
Yeah, the KKK leader. He's made an interesting point about the black community that resonates. Should we care?
What is the point? Can you give me an example of a point?
Nigeria shit.
So I don't know. I'm just riding off the back of what you've said. So
okay, yeah, you know what? I'll give you an example.
Leader.
Yeah, can I give you an example? If the KKK leader said, you know, black people, I'll be real. If we were in your position, I think we would have done something for ourselves by now. I think it's about time you do something for yourself. I would say, you see that? That's what I would say. Why? Because Malcolm said it. Because I say it. I would say it. I would. Because it's still truth. I don't need to hear your opinion. I don't care about you as an individual, as a KKK leader. I don't give a damn about you, people who have done far less. Believe me, right? You guys know my personal views, right? But if what they're saying is true, it's true. Do you get what I'm saying? But I do hear what you guys are saying about you don't want to hear from them. I'm not going to say to you, listen to them. I'm not going to say that. I'm just saying if they do say something that's true, it still is true. That's what I'm saying.
You've just made an argument for us as a community to take notes and cues from what the leader of the KKK, is it?
I'm not saying to take notes. I'm just
If
talking
it's
about
true,
acknowledge
sorry,
if it's true.
If it's true.
It's true though. It's true.
But
Damn it.
everybody is gonna say something true.
Precisely.
Emmanuel.
No,
Yeah,
but that's
everyone's
what I'm
gonna say something
saying.
true.
But that's what
No,
I'm saying.
What I'm saying is that
A
some
broken
people
clock is
say
right
something
twice a day.
true things.
No,
Yeah,
we love that
exactly.
term as well.
Some people say true things just to reinforce something really nefarious that they're about to do. In fact, most things have to be wrapped in the guise of truth. You can't just give people pure lies. You always have to, slide the truth in there somewhere if you're going to commit a genocide or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure Hitler said plenty of true things. It comes a point where we go, I don't care if you're true. I don't care if what you say is technically right, is factually or statistically correct.
Yeah.
You are just, I don't want to hear from you. You are just literally out for us, I don't know.
Yes. No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that's fine. I hear. I'm not trying to make anybody a fan of Kemi, a fan of Candace Owens. At all, not even in the slightest. What I am saying is when Candace is talking about particular communities doing this to particular people, that's true to me. And I'm gonna say it's true. If somebody else comes out and talking about adolescence and says, oh, it's meant to be a black person, I'll say that's foolishness to me. And I'll say it's foolishness. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, that's how I'm seeing it. But again, I'm not interested in trying to bring them in. I don't care. I'm even dubious about the neutrals in our community. How much more the people who say stuff that can be perceived as anti-black? I care about the pro-black. I care about everybody, all of our black community, right? But my focus is more so on and building alliances with people who I know are pro-black. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's definitely not Kemi and Candace and Kanye.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying?
Would you say that they get used as an example of different faults?
Yeah, I think so.
So when someone's saying of different faults, they would bring them up.
I think so, yeah. I think so.
Okay.
Even white people do that too.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So again, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just talking about for me.
Because even the example of when Black Rob used Martin, MLK and Malcolm X. Malcolm X would never be on the side of a Kemi or a Candice.
Yeah, facts.
So,
but who's on the side?
But I'm just saying, like,
yeah. No, I get you.
And they had different thoughts on how they.
100%.
My thing is, if I'm not hearing, on how women I know people don't like that, but just generally as a whole of like how we need to progress and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Me hearing a point from them, I don't care about their different thoughts because underlining they don't care about moving us forward.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I couldn't give.
And I understand fully. I will not fight any of you on that point. I agree with you.
So people want to be like, oh, you can't assume. You can't. No, they've shown themselves.
Yeah.
Can I just make a point?
It would be different if it wasn't. They didn't show themselves. Then fair enough.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
Is this Godders?
Yeah, man.
All right, good morning.
Good rising, all.
Good morning, man.
I just want to make a point. Like, I've got no problem people thinking differently and giving their propositions to why they think this and think that. Ultimately, for me, the decider is your actions. Quintessentially, if myself, I use myself as an example. I invested in the new black. I'm married to a beautiful.
Say that again. Wait. Say that again. Tell them. Start again.
I invested good money
in
the new black because I believe in what we're doing here. Yeah. I'm married to a black woman. I love her to death, and we've created 5 beautiful children.
Come on.
Now those are just a simple examples I can give to why I'm pro-black and I'm about this life that I want to better all of us together. Now, you can have your different opinions, whatever, but show me your actions, then I can have a better understanding of who you are. Kemi, as you guys have always pointed out, she's never been about this life for us.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll hear
because I watch the news, innit? So now and again you come on and you hear her saying whatever foolishness she's on that day. I'm not gonna take it in, and I'm not gonna say, "Oh, yeah, she's right on that aspect." Okay, I accept it in my head. She's right. I'm never gonna voice it. Iman may be different. He'll say, "Yeah, I agree with her on that point." And to your Yoruba point, I'm from Uganda. There's a lot of tribalism and madness going on between our people. Like the Uganda people, Amacholi, there's conflicts galore. It's been that, and that's why the reason why we left because of civil war. We left Uganda in the first place. So I know there's combat. There's a lot of conflicts within black people of every different type of um tribes there are in the world. You get what I'm saying? But where we need to agree, I think we need to draw up some kind of charter where we can go by and tick, 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 tick. Is this person married to a black person? Cool. Do they have a black child? Cool. But I also understand there's some who fell in love with a different type of person and they've procreated, but they're still about that life. And if they're showing me they're investing their money in black businesses, they're investing in the community and they're cool. I'm good with that because to me, your actions speaks louder than words. So to roam it back quintessentially, action is the only way we're gonna get through this. So all this words, you can have different views and blah blah blah. But I'm not trying to hear any of that, man. Show me what you're doing and factually. Like I understand not everyone can prove that they're pro-black at any given moment, but give any person time, they'll show you who they are.
I hear you, man.
I needed that. I needed that.
I hear you.
That was beautiful, beautiful. Good morning, Kofi, and
Oh,
welcome back,
good morning,
Joshua.
Morning, people.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, I've got a couple of points. I think with regards to Kemi and Candice, these type of people, as Chrissy said, they're not trying to be pro-black. Their previous actions speaks for themselves. With Kemi, as Life of Bodge said, I think she was trying to do more anti-Muslim type of thing, by dismissing the north of Nigeria, than to be any sort of pro-black Yoruba land thing, which I think also that Yoruba land thing is a bit slightly disingenuous. I don't think that will benefit Nigeria, but that's for a different point. But I just think Kemi is being disingenuous. Same with Candice. And I think sometimes with E-Man, I think because they agree with you politically, you kind of give them a buy and you don't really go in on them. But if this was like, say, Kamala Harris, who said something similar, you'd be going in two-footed on her. Or Obama, you'd be going in two-footed on her because you don't agree with them politically. And now they're coming up with a point which would be anti-black, and then you go in on them, and rightly so. So I think sometimes, because if someone sits to the right of politics, I think you're a little bit easy on them in comparison to who sits more to the left, and then you really go in on them. That's my 2 cents on it.
I hear what you're saying, but I don't think that's entirely true. I think it may appear that way because I may disagree with Kamala Harris on many more things, innit? So it looks that way. But to me, anyway, I try my best to be fair, innit? And this is the reason why when Rachel Reeves, for example, who's a white woman, who's a Chancellor of the Exchequer, in fact, the first woman Chancellor of the Exchequer, when she was doing certain things, I can't remember what now, but when she first came into office, I was like, okay, cool, I'm hoping she does some good stuff here. I think she's got some good ideas. She was saying things that made me think, you know what, if you go forward with this particular thing, this might be good. I bigged her up. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with Labour. I don't agree with, generally anyway. But I did that, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's necessarily because of that at all. I think it's just because I just like to interrogate ideas. And if it's a true idea, I don't need to lie about it. If it's a true idea, it should be able to stand the test of time, innit? And that's just basically what I believe in it. But again, I'm not trying to bring anybody on side of these people at all. I'm not on their side like that. It's just what they're saying. If it's something that is true, it's true. If it's something that's nonsense, it's nonsense. Just call it for what
But
it is.
Iman,
Yeah.
we need to be careful with that, brother, because just it's like these Arsenal fans. Rice scored one. Rice scored a banger, yeah, but have you seen his last 13 free kicks? Dead.
Sensational.
Dead. So the point I'm trying to make is a broken clock can be right twice a day.
Yeah.
So we need to be careful when someone is right, even though we know what they stand for. You don't have to bring it out to the public and let people know about it.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
I definitely hear
so
you
that's
on
what
that
I'm saying.
No,
So
just- I think
I know
like
we're on the
that
same
was-
side, but we can agree to disagree on that one if you want. But
No, I hear you. I hear you on that.
Hey, Rice is better than a broken clock, my friend.
I did.
But in your wildest
Rice is better than a
dreams, did
broken
you ever
clock, my
think
friend.
that this could happen?
Yeah?
I did.
I'm not saying Rice
But in your
isn't good, bro.
wildest dreams,
Rice is
did you ever
good. Don't
think
get it
this
twisted.
could happen?
And me and
I did.
Culture agreed
But
on
in your
that. Like
wildest dreams, did
he
you ever
went a bit
think
wild,
that this could happen?
but
I did.
he's
But
dead.
in your wildest
We
dreams,
stand
did you
on
ever
that.
think?
Brent, are you
Rice
right?
is a
Or was
good
it
guy.
you that's doing that?
But in your
Oh, you're
wildest
sorry.
dreams, did you ever think?
Thinking it's like,
I did.
Actually, Ina, I want to talk to you about this Eurobaland thing. Yeah.
Artichoke, you know.
This Eurobaland thing that you're going about. You said the south of Nigeria will be called Yorubaland.
I said it will be called. Of course not. Why would it be called Jubaland?
I thought you tried to say the south of Nigeria was going to be called Yorubaland.
No, not at all. Not at
I'll be
all.
cheeky.
Very.
All right, fair enough. My bad.
Very. Nah, man.
All right, no worries then. All right, I'm out. Take it easy, people.
Thank you,
Thank you for the
thank
call,
you
man.
so much, Andrew, the King's Monologue. Thank you so much, Kofi. Thank you, Izzy Bambi. That was fantastic, by the way. Please do that more. I keep encouraging you to keep coming up more. I'm not just saying that. Please do. Thank you, Godders. Always love when Izzy come on and you say a few words, but it's very impactful. You know, you don't like to talk too much. You just do. Love it. Joshua, do you want any final words, parting words before we move on?
I don't want to change the mood, but all I'll say is, so what do we do when we have somebody who's telling the truth that we don't agree with? I'll just leave us with that. That's a thought in it. Maybe we address that another day.
Yeah,
it seems like we got to a good, nice, wholesome conclusion in it. But
Josh.
What did he say?
Hello?
I didn't hear.
He said,
Josh, yeah, you just take it in, bro. You don't have to broadcast it for everyone to know, because we know ultimately where they
you have to
stand.
prove to me it's damaging first, innit? That's what it is. I'm not saying that I don't think what you're saying is reasonable, innit? But if you're just basically saying I should be deterred from, because it sounds like you're saying just be deterred from listening and taking these people seriously.
No, I'm not saying that, bro. The biggest room in the world is improvement. So I said from the offset that I'm happy to listen to all the differences they are. But when their actions start diverting and cementing that they're not really about that life, ban them.
Yeah, no, I jumped in and out too much in it, so yeah, I don't really. Yeah, that's all I wanted to ask. I guess it's probably a better.
Thank you. And Chijoke, thank you again.
Yes, thank you, man.
Yeah, you seldom jump on the Discord, but you know, we welcome you when you are here. Thank you.
Indeed.
Let's push on to asking for friends so that Jean can live, please.
Okay.
Kept her
I
here
checked. I didn't
for
think
too
we
long.
had one. Oh, okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, seen it.
All right, okay. Let me go here. Where is it? There we go.
All right, then. So this is from a lovely lady, age 26. This is, I don't like lying and I want to be honest to my man. Ever since he's cut his hair, he's bald and shaved his beard, my attraction to him has gone so down and dead ass, I don't find him cute anymore. I do love him, but it's difficult to love him when he looks the way he looks now. He became cleanly shaven after a new chapter in his life. He says, I know shallow, but I can't help how I feel. Gina, what do I do? And guys, what's the best way you'd want to hear the news? You know that would mortify me. That's why I'm laughing, smiling.
And for Emmanuel, wigs is it, but you like deal with it? Eat crow?
Huh?
Never mind.
No. You know me. I like when you speak with your chest. So
basically, you say it would mortify you, right? Cringe.
You wouldn't want to find me.
It would mortify you. Cringe. Him cutting his hair, his beard.
Yeah, it would mortify me. Yeah.
Miles says telling you what's mortifying him. So
Yeah.
you're like, eat crow.
Yeah, but the thing is, I can't. Obviously, he's done what he's done in it. I'll be mortified. I'm livid. Like, why did you not consult me?
Are you lipsing him until Izzy grows back the hair?
Yeah, of course. I'm not. The thing is, obviously, she says she don't find him cute anymore, innit? So I don't know for that, because I feel like with me and my attraction to people, it's not based solely on the physical. We know this. So I'm attracted to people based on like personality, without other stuff in it. Looks is also a thing, but like, I can't imagine my man cutting off his hair and his beard and me finding him completely repulsive. It would annoy me, but I'd get used to the look eventually.
So put yourself in her position, because
In her
she's saying
position.
that. Yeah.
That she proper finds him repulsive. I think you just got to tell him. I think you can be honest. I think you can be honest the same way. Yeah, you can be honest. You can
Same
tell
way he
him.
can't be honest about the wig.
But how can he not
She
be
stopped
honest
herself.
about... No, but why? How can he not be honest about the wig? The thing is, you can tell me you don't like my wig. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to wear it. I didn't say that you can't tell me how you feel. Yeah?
Well-
you can express it. You can say it.
I love this.
No, but you can. I'm not telling you that you can't speak on it.
Cool story, bro.
And you can have an opinion.
That's what she said. Cool story, bro. And what?
Oh, man.
What no?
Precise.
What no?
So, as I was saying, you probably just made this up, you little toe rag.
Who bagger?
You, one of you, must have just.
If you think I have time to make,
Do you know what? Do you know
and
what
I don't
I
have time to
do?
do timestamps
Let
for
me
these
tell you why.
videos.
Let me tell you
No
why.
way.
Let me tell you what
No
you do.
way.
Because I checked this earlier. I checked to see if we had a dilemma, and there was nothing there.
There wasn't.
Exactly.
I put it in there.
There was nothing
When
there.
I saw you getting restless when we were talking about important matters in the black community.
And also, coincidentally, do you know
Let me
what's
give
really
you
funny?
some-
I heard you. I'm not laughing, so no one else is finding it funny but you. Okay.
I cannot.
No. It's not too much. It's not too much. But my point is, you're the only one finding it funny. So let me let you have your moment, since you want your moments so badly. And then when you're finished, I'll continue.
I have clocked up.
No. Continue. Get out your system. No, you haven't.
Finish.
You have 30
Yes,
seconds.
I wrapped up the Discord call because I didn't want you to leave without basically doing this dilemma. Because I know that it said Gina in it.
Oh.
Because I read it. And that's why I said what I said.
Whatever. Anyway. Yeah. So I would express how I feel if it was me, and if it's getting to you that badly. But you might have to swallow it, my sister, because if that's the look that he wants to wear, it's the look he wants to wear. So you might have to squint with your eye
And picture it.
and picture him. Yeah. And just
Picture me identifying himself as what he was before.
basically. But
How about you, Christy?
So when
Any
he
advice
shaved
for
off
the babes?
head and beard.
Yeah, he is an egg right now. Literally an egg.
A thumb.
No, he's an egg. A hard-boiled Ghanaian egg.
Yeah, that would be tough for me. I can't lie. But at the same time, did she say how long? If I'm with him, I'm with him, and I'm all in. I'm just gonna have to get over it.
Yeah,
it is what it is. I'm gonna have to
Basically.
get over it. Like that's, yeah. You might annoy me just temporarily, but I'll just have to get over it. If I genuinely like him, and there ain't nothing else wrong with the relationship, then what? I don't like.
Yeah,
get past it.
Yeah, I think
I have to get past it.
I can't imagine leaving my partner because Gina don't mind the bitch kid about how many times you bust your nine. Oh, you lot need. Do you know you need to actually grow up? Yeah, grow the hell up, all of you. Just grow up. Can't wait till I find my God-fearing man who carries his Bible underneath his armpit. Because you lot are annoying.
Gina, you know you don't want that man though. That's it.
Don't feed into that kind of stuff. Gina.
No, I'm
not
not.
finding it funny.
No, well, I want to find this funny
I
because
find it
earlier
bad
on,
under my arm.
because earlier
That's
on
all.
you wanted to laugh and
But
crack jokes.
I don't like this one.
I don't care. I don't
Cool
care.
story,
Yeah,
bro.
cool story, bro. Nonsense. But yeah, for me, honestly, I would just express. It's gonna be hard, but you have to get over it, man. Because on the other foot, yeah, we would all be making a lot of noise, yeah. If this dilemma was about a guy who basically said that his partner had put on loads of weight and he didn't find her attractive anymore.
Facts.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So.
And in the chat, someone said this dilemma is ridiculous. The amount of times a year women do different things with their hair, piercings, etc. Your man might feel the same sometimes. It's not that deep.
Yeah, that's not why they're with you. So Emmanuel, if it was you and you decided to become an egg, how, and your partner weren't feeling the egg look, how would you want to be told?
Just tell me the truth. That's
Yeah.
all. Yeah, if I feel like you care, then you can tell me anything.
Right. So are you in that moment of her telling you look like an egg, I don't like it, right? Are you gonna no longer look like an egg? Are you gonna grow it out?
It depends. I'll be like, you sure? You sure? Like, do you want to give it a bit more time to get used
Yeah,
to?
to get you. You
I
know
like-
what? Let me be honest. I think that that's also a thing, though, right? You know when like you're so used to how someone looks,
Yeah.
and then they and then they drastically change.
Yeah, it's true.
It throws you off,
Yeah, it
and
does.
it takes a while. But then you're like, you know what? This actually suits you. It's just because it's different.
Yeah.
And
you're not
I
used
like
to seeing.
familiarity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that might also be a thing. Brent, not that I care about your opinion, but go
I was
on.
actually looking for the pastor that was going viral recently. I'm trying to put his picture up on the screen.
Oh, wait.
What do you do?
Oh, what?
did you
Yes.
The singer. No. What pastor?
Oh, what? Marvin Sapp? Oh, no.
No. The one who was accused of changing the life of a family who had traveled from Canada,
Never seen
sold
it.
everything, and then they
Nope.
Never
seen
seen
it.
it.
front.
No.
Never.
All right. Well, maybe you may have seen him going viral. It's like mood lighting in his auditorium, right? And he's there and he's motivational, inspirational.
The one with glasses. There's a lot of them though.
With
There's so
glasses,
many.
yes, there's with glasses. But it was just only recently. And we were talking about him the other day, Gina. He was gingering you a bit.
The one with 3 names.
I don't know.
That
Who?
one. Philip Anthony Mitchell or something like
Maybe.
that.
Is it that one?
I don't know the story
Let
you're
me
talking
type it in.
about.
Let me type it in. He's a handsome man.
Black man.
Yeah.
The one that we spoke about before.
Yeah.
The same guy.
Yeah.
Yes, that is Philip Anthony Mitchell.
Correct, Emmanuel. Right? So he has his...
Put a picture. 'cause
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
know.
going to put it up. I'm going to put it up. This is him.
He has a beard, no?
Yeah. But this is just to my point of this man putting his Bible under his armpit.
Oh, this man. Okay.
He doesn't kind of like...
He's
He
not
tells
soft.
the whole world that he's a born-again Christian.
Yeah, of
that he
course.
loves the Lord.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And his Bible's on his armpit.
Yeah.
And
Fair enough.
you know what I'm saying? That's what I was saying.
Oh, okay, fair.
Yeah, that's what I was
Fair.
saying.
Okay.
Because this energy he gives, it ain't no.
Yeah. He's proper like
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
In his previous life, he was probably busting nines. I don't know if he's,
Oh.
not busting nines. For the
Apparently he's a
Lord.
reformed gangster. Okay. Maybe.
This is it, right?
Okay.
There we go. Thank you very much.
Potato. Anyway, please, children of the Lord, enjoy your weekend.
She needs to get over it. Personally. She needs to get over it personally.
Yeah, I think you should get over it. I don't think it's that deep. And sis, the dating pool is. So if I was you, cling on, hold on tight.
Yeah,
It's a tough world
I
out there.
definitely
So, yeah.
think you should love him through all
Regardless,
his different
man.
seasons.
100%.
Because you're asking him to do the same for you.
Yeah.
This guy.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
I didn't say anything bad.
You
I
didn't.
didn't.
All right.
Reciprocal loving mine. All right, there
If
you go.
Sorry,
You've got-
before we go, if you was with someone and obviously the voluptuous Gina now, and then you started putting on the weight, and they weren't getting this Gina, they weren't getting walk into Jericho Gina, and they now said they don't find you attractive. How would you?
The thing is, I would know though. Like the thing is, I always say this year, like people act like I have clothes, I have eyes. I will know that I'm putting on weight. Do you get what I mean? So if they told me that I've put on weight, I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's just the delivery in it. And it would obviously knock my confidence. I'm not finding me attractive, yeah, but I just deal with it. I can't be mad at you because that's not how you met me, innit? Even me, I probably am not happy with how I am or where I'm at. I think I just wanted to be a bit more supportive. So you know what? It's a delivery and approach. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's go on this journey together or support me and encourage me. Do you know what I mean? But if you're coming to call me Obolo and like tease me as Africans do, like that approach ain't gonna help. So yeah.
Shout out Georgina.
Georgia.
I'm talking about you.
You weren't talking about me.
All right then.
Were you talking
I
about me?
take back the shout out.
You wasn't talking about me.
F you.
You wasn't. You
Cool
talking
story,
about
bro.
Oh, swear. Like
Nah,
that.
that's joking. That's joking.
No.
No cool story.
We can maintain that strong imagery from now till that kingdom come.
That will be done. On earth, you're supposed to go back and back.
And earth as it is in heaven. But you want to see if I know the verse?
Yeah, it's true.
You think I don't know Jesus Christ?
Jesus Christ.
Bye, guys. Enjoy.
Can I have my
See
iPad,
ya.
please?
Have a good weekend.
Can I have my iPad, please? You know, deep.
All right, people.
Really deep in it.
So, next set
I think you
headlines,
should.
Brent.
Yes.
All right, people. Michelle Obama, she's in the news, man. She's spoken out against rumors that her marriage to Mr. Barack Obama might be in trouble. The former First Lady has not accompanied her husband to several high-profile events, including Donald Trump's inauguration and the funeral of the former President Jimmy Carter, which has fueled speculation that they might be separating. Without explicitly mentioning those occasions, Mrs. Obama told a Work in Progress podcast, hosted by actress Sophia Bush, that she was now in a position to control her own calendar as a grown woman. She said that people were not able to believe that she was making a decision for herself and instead had to assume that my husband and I were divorcing. Mrs. Obama shared that she felt some guilt for stepping back from certain duties. She said, that's the thing that we as women, I think we struggle with, like disappointing people. Ms. Obama also said in the podcast, I chose to do what was best for me, not what I had to do, not what I thought other people wanted me to do. And yeah, man, so the Obamas celebrated their 32nd anniversary last year, man. 32nd. Big up them, man. Next headline, trigger warning on this one, people. The city of New York, the mayor has come out to say that 6 people, unfortunately, man, they died after a helicopter crash in New York's Hudson River. They include 3 adults, one of whom was the pilot, and 3 children. At a briefing, yeah, man, on Thursday night, the New York Police Department's commissioner said NYPD divers recovered 4 people from the crash site, and fire department teams recovered an additional 2 people. Jessica Tisk said that immediate life-saving measures were undertaken on the vessels at the scene, as well as the adjoining pier. 4 victims were pronounced dead on the scene, and 2 more were removed to local area hospitals, where sadly both succumbed to their injuries. The Mayor Adams, he came out and said, we're praying for the families and sending our gratitude to the rescuers for the courage and dedication that was displayed. The identities of the deceased have not been confirmed. Sad, man. The aircraft, by the way, guys, was on a tourist flight around Manhattan and was run by the New York Helicopters Company. And our last headline, a lightning strike at a school playground has injured 5 students, leaving 1 unconscious. This according to local media. This happened in Japan. Students were playing football at a school in Nara, near Kyoto, which is in western Japan, where the lightning struck, and all 5 of those injured were believed to have been taken to hospital. Quoting the police, Japan's NHK public television said 1 14-year-old boy was unconscious. The other 4 students reported numbness in their limbs and were unable to speak smoothly. And the channel said that a supervisor told the police that the lightning struck after a sudden downpour. And that's it for the headlines. Time to pay them bills. Let's get to the word and roll, Brent, quickly.
All right.
All right, Brent. In the very top of the doc, there's 2 links. If you don't mind playing the first one for me, please. Firstly, welcome to World and Road. I'm in no way, shape, or form trying to do the work of Esther. That can never be done. You know what I'm saying? We miss the Queen and we wait for her to return. I know you guys miss her as well. Shout her on Instagram and say you miss her. But I do want to bring this to the people because I saw this actually retweeted by Daryl Blake. Big up Daryl every single time as well, man. And this is some sad news, man. Basically, Brent's going to play the clip. If you don't mind playing it, Brent.
Okay, I'm just gonna go in and let tiptoe.
The little grey suitcase is
Oh shoot, the money box is opened and emptied. Where are the laptops? Oh my gosh, I don't even want to open the door because if the laptops are gone.
They won't put my suitcase, they took every fucking thing, man.
Oh my gosh.
They fucking took everything, man. Sorry.
We have to put this out there. I'm sick of this.
And how many times can this happen? I'm actually so scared to look in the drawers.
Why?
Because a laptop.
Which drawers is it?
I don't know.
Sad, man. Basically, that was a clip from Sister Space. For those who don't know, Sister Space is a charity that basically supports African and Caribbean women affected by domestic and sexual abuse. You may know the maybe the co-founder or the head basically of Sister Space. She was the lady who had that back and forth with, you know, that royal who was saying, "Where you really from? Where you really from?"
Them man's aunt or whoever.
Who?
When she related to the royals.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the one that basically was saying, "Oh, where you from? Where you really from?" Well, no, where you really from? That one. So the black woman there, what's her name? Is it Miss Fulani? I think it's Miss Fulani. Yeah, basically this is what happened to them the other day, man. The only spot, right, along like that street of 75, I believe, different buildings,
offices,
different offices. Thank you. Yeah, man, they basically got robbed, and it's just diabolical, man. And this is basically the type of stuff that sometimes in our community we have to go through.
Have you seen they released CCTV?
No, I've not seen it.
It's on White Man, you know.
Oh, no, I didn't doubt that for a second. Serious?
Yeah.
I didn't know they had
and
the
that
CCTV.
he just knew exactly.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
If they're the only one, then obviously it's been targeted. You know what I'm saying? And for a particular reason. This is an establishment that helps black people, black women, Caribbean women, African women who've gone through like traumatic
Apparently this is
stuff.
the second time.
Yeah, exactly. That's what she said. Oh, not again. You know what I'm saying? It's sad, man. It's sad. Let me just read what she said on the Instagram post. Said, I absolutely cannot believe we are here again making a post like this at a time where it feels like we take one step forward and then are forced to take 10 steps backwards. Today, we got to work early to find that we were the only office out of 75 to be the victims of a robbery. But this one felt very personal. We have recently downsized our office to a new space in the same building, and we're working to make it feel like a positive and productive place to work in. Not even 2 months in, and we have been completely violated. CCTV shows a man breaking into the building and making his way straight to our office. He wasted no time and was able to escape with everything. We have so many questions, so many frustrations, and so much confusion. That being said, no one was physically harmed, and as always, we will not be stopped. And she said, apologies for the swearing. What you're hearing is obviously genuine shock and their first reactions, man. But yeah, it's so sad, man. So I just wanted to highlight them. On their website, you can donate as well, by the way. I'm not saying donate just because of this, but this is an organization you can donate to regularly anyway. They're putting in like good work for our community. So I just wanted to shed light on what's going on with Sister Space. So big up Sister Space and please support them, man. Yeah. Next thing I wanted to mention is, Brent, in the next clip, if you don't mind, basically Vibes Cartel was on a podcast. I believe it was a podcast. And he was basically talking about his, I think it's got Ebro in it.
Was in the radio show.
Radio show, thank you very much. And he's basically, they questioned basically on the bleaching. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like many people were skating around that particular thing, innit? So they've asked him a particular question and Brent's gonna play it so you guys can hear his response, man.
I will say you've been through a lot, but one thing that a lot of us like we're taken back is when we learn.
A lot of convo obviously was made when you was bleaching and you know all of this. Now that's not your thing anymore.
No, fully melanated.
Was it? Have you examined your purpose? Like at that time, have you ever had a chance to look at what you was going through and why you wanted to do that?
I mean, in hindsight, I think it definitely had to do with self-love. But on the other hand, while I was doing it, my mind wasn't telling me that. My mind was telling me, oh, I'm doing this to show my tattoos because I got a lot of tattoos, blah, blah, blah. But looking back, I think it was just, as a black man, sometimes you have those issues. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I would never bleach again, though.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah,
because there's a lot, you know, when you travel the globe, and not just black people, right? Like when you get to Korea and these other places where lightning cream, being lighter, is like a thing, and it's heartbreaking. Like it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. I know. When you say as a black man you have that issues, can you expand on that?
I mean, we as black people, we all have that issues. You know what I mean? Like
complexionism.
Yeah, complexion is colorism. Like even with black women, the hair, like, you know what I mean? This, if Laura cut her hair, she could sell it to a black woman right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we have that issue. We like light skin and
white supremacy has done a job.
That Eurocentric look.
There you go.
Black people have always wanted to look like that. I guess it has to do with slavery and the whole thing.
Well, then the crazy part, plot twist, they want to get curlier hair
and be 10. Yes.
And be 10.
And that big thing.
And then they want the body.
Yes, they want the body and the lips. Yeah. I mean, I guess the grass is greener on the other side.
The ass is fatter on the other side.
Yeah, that's
But by the way, also, I do remember. I distinctly remember you calling in to me and Cypher show.
Yes.
When the skin bleaching thing was crazy.
Yes.
And there was also, I believe, there's also part of Cartel that loves to troll the world.
Yes.
Like you do get excitement out of seeing the people go crazy. Because I remember we asked you, like, what are you doing? And you were,
I see what you done there. I see what you done there.
Vibes did it. I didn't.
Interesting.
Vibes did. I didn't do a goddamn thing. All right. So as you can see, he has faced his
demons.
His demons, and he's come out winning. You know what I'm saying? Some things are not reversible, but at least the melanin was divine enough to come back. You know what I'm saying? So big up him, man. And just shed light on the situation, man. Because for some reason, since he's obviously been free, I've not seen anyone ask him this obvious question. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, last thing I wanted to mention is there is a play. So Brent sent me this the other day. I believe somebody sent it.
Shout out Heather.
Big up Heather. Big up Heather. Big up Heather. And basically, it's an amazing play. She's gone to see the play, and she was disappointed at the lack of an audience. Right? This is a black play that is in Stratford East, right? Theatre. It's been on from the 19th of March, Wednesday, and the last show is tomorrow, Saturday 12th. And she was just thinking, like, we need to just come down there, support if you can. Obviously, one more day now, innit? But at least she went to see it, and she just thought, this is how certain things, we put so much effort into it, and some of these things don't get continue to be made and things like nature because we don't know about it. And number two, sometimes when we do know about it, we're not supporting. So I just wanted to throw it out there, just in case people are free. If people can go down there and support it. It's called Lanrumney Plantation. Sorry, the Women of Lanrumney, and basically it's based on the Lanrumney Plantation, which was in St. Mary Parish in Jamaica. It was a sugar plantation, I believe. And yeah, man, it follows the life of Annie and Ceres, who were enslaved by the Morgan family from Wales. Their future hangs in the balance when, I guess, the woman of the house, Elizabeth Morgan, is faced with losing her plantation. And then, yeah, man, they're fearing what could lie ahead. It surrounds all of that sort of stuff. It's about 2 hours and 15 minutes, including the interval. Apparently, it's really, really good. The women did an amazing job, man. So again, people, if you can, go down there and support it. It's in Stratford East. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Wonderful.
Let's get into our last set of headlines, Brent.
Okay.
Suspected of backing a coup plot against the long-time dictator of Gambia nearly 20 years ago, Ferrin Sanyang described Thursday how he was beaten with pipes and palm tree branches, pistol whipped and hit in the face with a hammer. Particles from the sandy ground of a courtyard in the West African nation, where the military officer fell during one of the 2006 beatings, lodged in his eyes, causing damage, requiring several surgeries and all that sort of stuff, right? So he basically came forward. He testified about this shit. He was a former military officer in Gambia. He took the stand in federal court in Denver against one of the former soldiers that he said beat him, a guy by the name of Michael Sankoria. So Correa is on trial after being indicted in 2020 under a rarely used law that allows people to be prosecuted in the US judicial system for torture allegedly committed abroad. So he's charged with torturing Sanyang and 4 others and being part of a conspiracy to torture alleged coup plotters while serving with the Junglers, right, which is a military unit that reported directly to the former Gambian president, Yahya Jammeh. Sanyang told jurors that he eventually agreed to sign a false confession but wiped blood from his head onto the paper to show that he had been tortured, right? That was his plan. Then after refusing to confess on TV, he was shocked with wires plugged into a wall socket and beaten again. Like, he went through a lot, right? And basically what's happening now is he's he's in court, man, and he's basically shedding light on what was happening in Gambia. Next headline, the government of Zimbabwe has announced an initial compensation of $3 million for white farmers whose property was taken under a contentious government initiative over 20 years ago. Absolutely diabolical. This marks the first disbursement under the 2020 compensation agreement established between the government and local white farmers, in which Zimbabwe pledged to pay sorry guys, a total of 3.5 billion Zimbabwe, you know,
to them
for the for the land that was confiscated. $3.5 billion, right? Zimbabwe. Between 2000 and 2001, thousands of white farmers were forcibly removed from their land, often through violent means, allegedly, while the land seizures aimed to rectify historical injustices from the colonial period. That was the point. They ultimately contributed to the economic downturn because of the sanctions. I'm adding this, because of the sanctions, guys, and the strained relations, exactly, with the Western countries. The payment announced on Wednesday will address the first 378 farms out of a total of 740 that have received approval for compensation. This amount constitutes 1% of the overall $311 million that was set aside for the initial round of payments. The remaining funds will be disbursed through US dollar denominated treasury bonds. This was mentioned by the finance minister. This is just ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, but some people would say the means in which the land was confiscated is wrong.
It shouldn't be there.
Yeah, well, people will be like, no, like that's wrong. Shouldn't.
It's because people don't know the story. Mugabe, if this is talking about what I think it's talking about, Mugabe had a deal with them, right? Saying we will compensate these white farmers. But the deal was with the American and the UK government saying, give me the money. We won't tell the world that it's money from the British taxpayer and Americans, but it will look like we are doing it. When Tony Blair's coming to power, he said, hey, my friend, that was a deal you had with these other guys. Yeah, we ain't wasting money on this. He said, wait a minute, no, you can't do that. He said, okay, fine. I'm take the land, we ain't giving them no peas. They didn't like that. And so the person who they knighted, Sir Robert Mugabe, turned into the devil, Robert Mugabe. And now today, we are paying them $3.5 billion for the so-called confiscated farmland. How do you confiscate something that's yours? How do we do this? I don't know. Maybe they're just taking tricks out of the book of people like Christopher Columbus, who discovers land that people are already there living. You know what I mean? But anyway, last headline goes to Nigeria, funny enough. President Bola Tinubu is working to revamp. Oh, pardon me. So I moved. I don't know what Tinubu is doing over there. But yeah, he's working to revamp the struggling oil sector as national production hits a record low and crude prices plummet following the announcement of new tariffs by Donald Trump. So just a week ago, the Nigerian leader dismissed several top executives from the national oil company, NNPC. And on Wednesday, the federal government declared that local refineries would be allowed to continue purchasing crude oil in the local currency. The policy allowing the sale of crude oil and refined products in Naira on the Nigerian market remains in effect and will continue as long as it aligns with public interest and supports national economic goals. This was stated by the Nigerian Ministry of Finance on April 9th, so on Wednesday. The Naira for crude, this is an initiative, right? It aims to promote local refining, enhance energy security, and reduce reliance on foreign currency in the domestic oil market. This is what the statement went on to further emphasize. And in recent weeks, a standoff had developed between the national oil company, NNPC, and the billionaire, Mr. Dangote, right, who operates a massive refinery in Lagos, right? Forced to pay for crude oil in dollars, the tycoon, Mr. Dangote, halted the sale of his fuel on the local market, which led to a spike in the gasoline prices in Nigeria in recent days. This intervention is being portrayed as crucial for revitalizing the declining national oil production and restoring the credibility of the state-owned enterprise, which has been marred by allegations of corruption. Guys, that is it for the headlines. It's time to pay them bills. And let's get into the reaction. All right, people. It's not much to say, to be fair, in the reaction. Just want to let you guys know who's playing in the Prem on the weekend. Man City's going to be taking on Crystal Palace at home. Brighton's going to be taking on Leicester City. Nottingham Forest versus Everton. Southampton versus Aston Villa. And Arsenal's going to be at home against Brentford. On Sunday, Chelsea's going to be playing Ipswich Town. Liverpool at Anfield will be playing West Ham United. Wolves are going to be taking on Tottenham Hotspurs. And a big game on Sunday is Newcastle versus Manchester United. Before we go on and wrap up the show, I did want to give an update on the situation that we spoke about on Wednesday, I believe, with the Adelea fight versus TKV. Basically, the British Boxing Board of Control, they have ordered an immediate rematch between David Adelea and TKV, right? However, they are saying the result of the fight, which was that Adelea knocked him out controversially, that result will stand. So TKV is going to have 2 losses on his record, and Adelea is going to have his 13 KOs, 14 wins, things of that nature. But they are saying for this British title, you guys have to fight again. So that's basically the update on that. Also wanted to mention Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, man. 3 on Netflix. That fight, that legendary, well, the first and the second were legendary fights. They're going to be having their 3rd fight now. Friday, July the 11th. Their press conference was fiery. Serrano's basically saying, you're not built like that. You know what I'm saying? I at least wanted to have the round at 3 minutes and not the 2 minutes like everybody else, right? But you're not built like that, innit? And you even said to me that you will do it, but now you're changing your views on that. So obviously Katie Taylor is basically not taking it lightly. She obviously won, I believe. I can't remember now. But yeah, they're going to have the trilogy on Friday, July 11th. Also, Moses Itauma, for those who know about the heavyweight scene, Moses Itauma is an up-and-comer. I believe he's 19, still 19. Has he turned 20 yet? I think he's 19. He's the brother that people believe could potentially beat Mike Tyson's record of becoming the youngest heavyweight. Anyway, he's back in the ring. He's going to be fighting against Maryland's Mike Balogun on the undercard of Josh Taylor versus Esserman, and that's going to be May 24th. And the last thing I wanted to mention is, to be fair, something I can leave for next week. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's something on the screen. Rashid says, E-Man, do you mind if I ask, do you think Nigeria needs to leave ECOWAS and start messing more with the Sahel?
Of course they do, but they never will. Please.
The Queen of POE is spoken, man. 100%.
Ain't gonna happen.
100, but again, it's not gonna happen. Isn't Tinubu even the head of ECOWAS?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not gonna. It's not happening.
Please. He was just there shaking his nash for his French colonizers.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
What the hell?
We need to leave all of these organizations that are not doing stuff in the interest of Africa, West Africa, and just Africa as a whole, man. You know what I mean? Ibrahim Traore is doing his thing, and his alliance with Niger, with Mali is beautiful. I love that Senegal's backing them as well. I love
it for them. I really do love it for them.
The president and the prime minister, serious guys.
Yeah.
They're still part of ECOWAS, but they're serious guys, isn't it? And they've said, every now and again, there's just new things they do. I think the most recent one is they're dropping the currency, innit?
Yeah.
The CFA franc. And for those that know, the CFA franc is one of the most diabolical things. To still have that, to even have the audacity to say that these countries, these francophone countries, are independent. How can you be independent when you've got another nation in Europe that doesn't even use the money, minting the money for you? It's diabolical.
And what actually really pissed me off was when all the stance was taken with France.
Yeah.
And they were making movements.
Yeah.
To do then they turned their hand to quickly turned their hand to Nigeria, and they just went there with just the optics of that. Just it was so literally off the back of that. I just think
it's a shame. It really is a shame.
What are we doing?
But I'll be honest with you, I'm becoming more hopeful. I mean, to be fair, I'm one of those optimistic people anyway, right? But I'm hopeful that something's going to happen. The fact that obviously the military government has taken over in those 3 countries, that was necessary. the fact that Ibrahim Traore is doing what he's doing. Apparently, I saw 19 Keys just posted, I think this morning, that he survived the 19th assassination attempt. These animals want to keep trying. You know what I'm saying? But the man's chosen, man. Hopefully, God willing, nothing will happen to him, and he will continue to get the work done. He's learnt from, I think, the missteps of
the past.
Yeah, of the past of our beloved brother Thomas Sankara. But yeah, man, this man don't trust people, and I love that. I love that. But yeah, I just want to big up Senegal as well, man. The fact that they've gotten through it, the so-called democratic route, but it's still moving towards Senegal being a pro-African, pro-Black African state that's truly independent. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I love it. So big up Senegal.
I used to think Nigeria as a superpower would show.
No,
I used to genuinely think that, but
no, they're too entrenched in the.
I don't have. I've lost hope, all hope personally.
I mean, it's not going to happen under Tinubu. We know that one anyway, right? But we have to be hopeful though. We have to be hopeful.
I don't know.
Otherwise, what's the point? Otherwise, we're defeated. You know what I'm saying? And we need to do something.
It's not to be defeated, but I just feel like, as you said, we're so entrenched.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. When you see your counterparts coming together and doing all of this, you decide you have to go against that. Actively go against that. Like, what the hell?
It's sad, man.
And that's why, and it was annoying because it was purposefully done because the French knew, okay, well, these people are locking me off on this hand. But good old sellouts Nigeria, they're gonna we say jump, they're gonna say how high. I'm tired of them, man.
But yeah, man. But yeah, I hope that answers your question, Rashid, man. Big up you. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, Brent. Let's get into our wrap up. It's wrapped up.
No, it's to run in.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay, cool. All right, people, it's been an amazing show, man. It's been an amazing show. Thank you to the Queen of BOE coming back in the building, forgiving our trespasses, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And stepping back in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We missed you.
You're lucky I hold Black people to a higher regard.
So you're hopeful, like me.
I mean,
you give us chances.
Not with certain people. I know where to draw the line with certain people, please.
Well, today we spoke about Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, and his surprise visit to Ukraine to meet war victims. We spoke about the Cabinet Office looking to shed 2,100 civil servant roles, people. It's a third of the roles in the officials at the Cabinet Office. We spoke about the father of a grooming gang victim who was basically interviewed by Sky News, and how he basically said the government needs to be ashamed, man, of itself over the confusion surrounding all the inquiries, because these people are basically messing around with survivors' lives, right? Very deep in interview. We spoke about Michelle Obama dismissing divorce rumors, and we spoke about the helicopter crash in the Hudson River in New York near Manhattan, where unfortunately 6 people passed away, man. We also spoke about the lightning strike injuries that 5 students sustained in a school in Japan, in Kyoto. And we spoke about the gentleman, Mr. Sanyang, who is now in America testifying in court about some of the atrocities that were happening under the Gambian government during the time of Mr. Jammeh. Also, we spoke about the most diabolical headline today, I believe, was the one where we spoke about the first payments being made by the government of Zimbabwe to compensate white farmers whose properties were taken under a contentious government initiative over 20 years ago. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. We also spoke about Tinubu's effort to restructure the ailing oil sector in Nigeria, which has also been affected by the tariffs as well. And for the topic of the day, man, which had a lot of you guys calling up, and we appreciate you guys, we spoke about not all opinions saving us. When diversity of thought divides the black community. I'm not too sure if I'm going to remember everyone who called up, but Andrew called up. Big up you, big up Godders, big up Chijoke, big up Izzy, big up Demi,
Black Rob.
big up Black Rob. I feel like there was somebody
There was
else.
someone else, a new caller that ain't called
That was
in
Andrew
before.
King's monologue.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
big up him. And by the way, he's going to be coming into the studio next week, guys.
Oh, was that?
Something special.
I didn't.
I didn't know at first as well.
I
wasn't
didn't
it?
clock his voice.
I didn't know at first as well. But big up him. He's going to be coming back in the studio. We're going to have a good episode, man. I've got a few ideas for that topic of the day. So
Just imagine us having space and access and infrastructure to be able to platform these conversations, mate.
Yeah.
And have Andrew coming through.
True indeed.
Just because. You know,
Yeah,
weaving it is.
You know what I mean?
Bloody hell, man. We're blessed.
I'm even, funny enough, I'm even leading up to the things that we're talking about, bro.
This is what I'm saying.
I think I'm going to be basically having certain topic of the days and inviting certain people to come in, fill up all the couches, heavyweights, you know what I'm saying? Talking about certain things. And the first glimpse of that is going to be next week. You know what I'm saying? So Andrew's going to come in. I'm going to try and invite somebody else too. And we're going to have a fiery conversation. Not to cause division, but to really enlighten us and really, you know what I mean? Get us thinking.
Have diversity of thought.
No, but this is going to be all ideas from people who love the black community. You know what I'm saying? Vetted people, right? But yeah, that's all I want to say pretty much, man. Appreciate you guys for being amazing. Please like the video, subscribe. Listen, there's bare channels out there that I listen to, on YouTube. I ain't subscribed to. I forgot. You know what I'm saying? You guys might have forgot. Subscribe, check. You know what I'm saying? Share the video. And yeah, man, hopefully, God willing, we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Later.
Bye.